9 locations have passed and 10 races have gone. We're here at Montreal. Who will win the Season 4-5 IFMC IndyCar title? Hello everyone, my name is JWF1 and we are here for the championship finale of the Season 4-5 IFMC IndyCar Championship here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada for 69 laps of action. And, well, it should have the makers of a very exciting race. 4 contenders still in the running. Simon Pagenaud, Fernando Alonso, Pietro Fittipaldi and J.R. Hildebrand all fighting it out to become the second ever IFMC IndyCar title. Pagenaud looking to make history to become the first person in IFMC history to win a championship without taking a win, providing he doesn't win here today, of course. Fernando Alonso looking to become the first driver in IFMC history to win a top class and IndyCar title as well. Pietro Fittipaldi as well, looking to try and emulate his father from the past. And of course, J.R. Hildebrand looking to be possibly an outsider to try and win today's title. And we've got 69 laps of action to go through today. Before we start though, I just want to leave a little note. My thoughts and prayers are with everybody, with all the families and friends who have been affected by the helicopter crash that has happened at the King Power Stadium outside of Leicester, which is Leicester City's football stadium. Obviously we don't know the details yet if anybody has sadly perished from that accident. We hope to God that it doesn't, that nobody has perished, but we just hope that the owner whose helicopter it belongs to, along with the 4 other people who was on the helicopter, have all come out alive. But at the moment, it does look a little bleak at the moment. We still, like I said, don't know if there's any deaths. The police are still yet to give out an official statement on this. But all we can do is just send our thoughts and prayers to anybody who has been affected by this as well. Obviously, I live half an hour away from Leicester as well. I live in the same region. East Midlands to be exact, and it's obviously hit us quite hard as well. So my thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends that have been affected by the tragic accident that took place last night. And yeah, hopefully we can have a good race to pay respects to. So with that in mind, let's have a look at the grid for today's race here at Montreal, the final race of the season. Here we go then. So, on pole position, it is Scott Dixon with Felix Rosenquist in second. Fernando Alonso lines up in third with James Hinchcliffe in fourth. Pietro Fittipaldi lines up in fifth with Alexander Rossi in sixth. Tony Kanaan starts in seventh with Ryan Hunter-Reay in eighth. Sebastian Bourdais lines up in ninth. He'll be giving up the number 1 today. Graham Rahal in 10th. Simon Pagenaud, the championship leader, a lot to do from 11th if he wants to win the championship today. Gabby Chavez in 12th. Helio Castroneves is 13th with Marco Andretti in 14th. Robert Wickens is in 15th with Joseph Newgarden, a very disappointing 16th after a good race last weekend at Watkins Glen. Will Power all the way down in 17th, that's Max Chilton in 18th. Ed Jones starts in 19th. J.R. Hildebrand, a lot of work to do for him if he wants to win the title, he's down in 20th. On the back row of the grid is Takuma Sato and the rookie for today, Patricio O'Ward. And that is the grid for the final race of the Season 4-5 IFMC IndyCar season. So there is the grid then, guys, for the finale here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with the weather, of course, being bright and sunny. So, leave your predictions. But for the final time this season, let's get to the 69-lap circuit Gilles Villeneuve race here for the final race of IFMC IndyCar this season. So, here we are then on the grid then. It is Dixon on the right of your screens, Rosenquist on the left. Who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start of the final race of the Season 4-5 IFMC IndyCar season. 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights are on, 5 lights are on. and it is lights out, and away we go for the final time this season. Side by side go Dixon and Rosenquist into the first corner. Who's going to get the lead into the first turn now then? Dixon's on the inside of Rosenquist. Rosenquist trying to hang it around the outside, and he takes it. Rosenquist leads here at Montreal. A fantastic start for the Swede. Alonso maintains his position at the start. What about the rest of the pack? There we got through okay. Pagenaud looks to have gained a place at the start of the race. It's a good start from Hildebrand as well. He's also gained a place. There's contact at the start between Power and Chavez. Chavez and Power have got involved in a lap 1 collision. Let's have a look and see what on earth happened then. So going into the first corner now, then as you can see, Power tried to have a look at Castagnetto, has backed out of that one. And where did Chavez come from? That's what I want to know. Into turn 2, and Chavez was on the inside. Power did not see him whatsoever, and has got clouted by Chavez as a result. We'll have to look at it from Chavez's perspective to see what would happen. The incident, of course, will have to be investigated after the race, but a first lap collision between Power and Chavez at the start of the race. Let's have a look and see then. So going into the first corner, he's obviously lost quite a few places, and as they make their way into the first corner, where Power's obviously on the left. Does Chavez actually see if he's there or not going into the corner? And no, he didn't see him either. So they were both pretty much unsighted going into the corner. It will be investigated after the race, but I wouldn't be surprised if nothing comes out of it. I would probably say that was just a racing incident from both of them. But, well, the stewards will want to obviously take a good look at that if that is the case. So a first lap collision here, but it is Rosenquist who leads, but he's got Dixon harrying him down behind. Hinchcliffe all over the backside of championship contender Fernando Alonso now then, as they make their way through the chicane now then for the first time today, as they now make their way down this straight before going towards the bridge now then. Dixon we ride on board with now then. He heads down into the next few turns on the track. He's trying to look to the inside of Rosenquist. Isn't quite able to make the move stick. Hinchcliffe also tried to have a look, but he had to back out of it. Alonso shutting the door there into that chicane, as now we go through into the section of corners now. And Alonso looking to the inside of Scott Dixon. Can he try and get the move done? Down the inside into the hairpin, and he does it. Alonso takes second from Scott Dixon. A fantastic pass from the Spaniard, as he'll now try and hunt down race leader Felix Rosenquist. And well, great pass there then from Alonso, and I can tell you if the result stays like this, with Pagenaud now down to 11th again now, then I can tell you if the result stays like this, Alonso will win the championship. Pagenaud's got to get a move on if he wants to win it today. He's already all over the back of Graham Rahal now then for 10th. Rahal won here last season, but he's looking less likely he's going to do it today, as now he's going to the inside. There's more side-by-side action down at the chicane. Contact's been made. That is Bourdais and Hunter Ray. They have come together. Rahal takes full advantage. Pagenaud having to go around there. And, well, contact at the last chicane between Hunter Ray and Sebastian Bourdais now. Let's have a look and see what happened. So going into the final corner, as you can see, Bourdais going quite defensive, and then Hunter Ray just pushes him off the track. And, well, obviously, Bourdais obviously losing a place as a result. That will be investigated after the race. So a collision there between Bourdais and Hunter Ray as a result, as they now make their way into the first 2 turns on the racetrack. And so now heading into the corner now then, and as you can see, down the inside goes Simon Pagenaud then, trying to find a way through on Ryan Hunter Ray, as they will go around turn 2 now then on the track, heading into the right-left chicane. He will go, and as you can see, Pagenaud trying to go around the outside, and he grabs the pace. He gets up into 9th place, so that's a position game there then for Simon Pagenaud. J.R. Hildebrand's up to 17th, so he's gained a few places. And we've got a retirement, it seems. We're already down to 21 runners. Who's out of the race? And it's Bourdais who's got beached. Bourdais has beached it. The contact with Ryan Hunter Ray has brought an end to what has been a tricky year for the Frenchman. Sebastian Bourdais out of the race, and we're down to 21 runners here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Bourdais retiring from the race. Rosenquist, as you can see now, starting to build a bit of a gap now between himself and Fernando Alonso. Alonso doesn't really need to pass him at the moment. He needs to really keep an eye on what's going on with Pagenaud at the moment. Pagenaud's in 9th. That will not be enough for Pagenaud to grab the title at this stage, as mentioned. If it stays like this, Alonso will grab the championship here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Pagenaud has got to get a move on. He's already up to 9th, but Ryan Hunter Ray trying to help out his own teammate now then, as he goes to the inside into the hairpin, but Pagenaud holds on to the place and holds on to 9th place for the moment now then, as they make their way into the hairpin now then. Some side-by-side action action going on. That's Hildebrand fending off from Patricia O'Ward, who's actually got quite a good start from last on the grid. Tried to have a look at Hildebrand, wasn't able to make it move stick. JR Hildebrand just able to hold on into the hairpin as Hildebrand's busy trying to get hold of this adrenaline car, going to the inside, and that looks like quite an easy pass there for Hildebrand, and he goes through. Up into 16th place goes Hildebrand, getting the move done on Marco Andretti, so he's making places up left, right and centre now then on the track as Hinchcliffe has got Pietro Fittipaldi, another championship contender, all over the back of him at the moment. It's not going to be looking good for Fittipaldi at the moment if it stays like this, because he'll lose the championship to Alonso. Alonso currently second, but Alonso has got Dixon harrying him down at the moment. Dixon trying to get the place off Fernando Alonso if he can, as they now make their way around this long sweeping right-hander now. Then they go Fittipaldi trying to get the move done on Hinchcliffe in front. Power sets the fastest lap of the race. Power currently holding on to the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race now. Then Dixon, can he get close to the back of Alonso underneath the bridge now? Then he doesn't look like he's close enough at this stage. He's just going to hang back for the moment. Alonso does go defensive though, as does Hinchcliffe and Fittipaldi. There looked to be a little bit of contact, but luckily none of them got pushed off into the gravel there, as now they make their way down towards the hairpin. Dixon though trying to retake second from Alonso if he can. Down the inside into the hairpin. Can Dixon pull the move off? And yes, he can. Dixon up into second place again. All of this is allowing Rosenquist to pull away a little bit more in the Red Rose Racing car now then. As meantime, Hinchcliffe still in front of Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi may have Rossi to worry about at the moment. Rossi starting to pass some pressure on the Brazilian at the moment. And we'll have a look and see what the fuel loads are like now then. So we've got 14.0, 17.1, 18.1, 22.1, 13.1, 35.0, 34.0, 19.1, 40.0, 22.2, 34.1, 35.1, 19.1, 15.2, 19.1, 15.1, 19.1, 35.1, 22.1, sorry, 13.1 and 16.2 there then. So they are the fuel loads, and more contact at the back as Andretti and Chavez have got together. I think it's Chavez, it might be somebody else actually now I think of it. I think it's actually Ed Jones, I do apologise. Got the Macamo and the target Andy Graham mixed up there, as now going into the heaven. Let's have a look then. So is it kind of a similar incident to what we saw? No, in fact it was more of a case of Andretti turning into the breaking point there then, so that will have to be investigated as well. It's 3 investigations in the space of a few laps then, so contact there then between Jones and Andretti, and wow, that's that really. Has Andretti now beached the car, and he doesn't look like he's getting going at the moment, and this could be race over for Andretti. Power setting another fastest lap there. Andretti getting the car going, and but now he's been brought to the back of the pack now then. Dixon starting to stretch his advantage a little bit from Fernando Alonso, as they will now make their way into the hairpin now there on the track. And as you can see, meantime, Pagano's up to 8th now as a result. He's already up into 8th place. So P8 now goes to championship leader Simon Pagano. He's making progress through the field, and he's trying his best to try and claim the title today. And so that's that really at the moment. Alonso will win it if it stays like this. So Alonso's currently on 40 points at the moment. Pagano currently in 8th at this stage, which is only worth 18 points. So he really needs to get his foot down. He needs to be 5th in this race if he wants to win the title. And hoping that Alonso doesn't get the fastest lap either. Otherwise, that'll be game over, and Alonso would win it on a count back. So that means he'd have to get up into 4th if he wants to win the title. So now into the last chicane we go now then. As you can see, Kanaan trying his best to hunt down Alexander Rossi for 6th place. Yesterday, of course, let's not forget, Pagano actually smacked it into the wall of champions. Clearly the pressure probably getting to him, but he really needs to try and get his foot down. His next target is, of course, 7th place man Tony Kanaan. What's the gap between the pair of them as they make their way into the first 2 turns on the racetrack, and the gap between them, let's have a look, coming out of turn 2 is 3.3 seconds. So that's how that looks at this stage. So meantime, Castroneves and Newgarden have gained a place on Wickens. It seems that the pack at the moment, it seems to be sort of split at the moment in terms of strategy. Half of them are clearly on the 2-stop, whereas others are on the 1-stop. So it should be quite interesting to see which one is going to get that one right in terms of strategy. Here is Scott Dixon at the moment, trying to close up onto race leader Felix Rosenquist at the moment, and he does seem to be closing in on him now. He's starting to pull a gap from Fernando Alonso as he looks to try and get Eldorado's first ever IFMC IndyCar win, along with his as well. And they came close to grabbing that brass ring back at the Chicagoland Speedway, but engine problems took care of Will Power's race, and now Dixon trying to return the favour of that race if he can. Of course, it is Eldorado's last race with Chevy Power. They are switching to Honda Power next season as a result of Martini Inertia pulling out of the series at the end of the season. This is Martini's final race in IFMC IndyCar as they are focusing on the top class from then on. And Eldorado assuming their Honda engines for the for season 5-6, and we're hoping to improve upon this season as well and look to get back into championship contention. Here is Pajot at the moment. Let's see the gap this time by between him and Tony Kanaan now then, as he makes his way down towards the first two turns on the racetrack and heading into turns 1 and 2 now then. The gap between Kanaan and Pajot is now, let's have a look, through turns 1 and 2, and the gap being 2.4 seconds. So that's how it looks at the moment. I couldn't quite remember what the gap was last time by. Wickens going quite defensive because other championship contender J.R. Hildebrand is already up to 13th, by the way. So he's made quite a good comeback, it must be said. He's now starting to pile all over the backside of Robert Wickens for 12th place. So that's that really. Lots of battling going on through the field. Patricio Ward's lost a few places now, so he's dropped back after being up in 18th a little earlier. So he's obviously been passed by 2 cars, including Will Power, who's now up into 18th place, it must be said. So he's gaining. So he's already caught up to the pack and is now starting to make some progress through the field. So meantime, now then we look at the top 2. Dixon's still trying his best to close in on race leader Felix Rosenquist. Rosenquist looking for his second victory this season after winning earlier on in race 2 at Belle Park, and he'll be looking to try and get another victory on the board before the season ends. And so far, keeping a comfortable gap between himself and Scott Dixon. And Dixon obviously caused quite a few incidents last season, it must be said, but he's now right at the front of the field and looking to try and get victory if he can. And so let's see the gap then between him and Rosenquist. We're now on lap 7 of 69 here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Now they're heading down towards turns 1 and 2 on the racetrack, and the gap between them is now, let's have a look, through turn 2 we go, and it's 1.7 seconds. So that's how it looks. There's a 2-second gap now between Dixon and Alonso at this stage. Meantime now then, Pagano, let's see the gap between him and Kanaan. It was 2.4 last time by. Let's have a look. And it's now down to 1.6. So Pagano has taken 8 tenths out of Kanaan's lead that time by. So he's absolutely flying at the moment, down in 8th place. And this is what he really needs at the moment with Alonso up in 3rd place. He really needs to get up into 5th, which is 3 places away if he wants to win the championship. As now going around the left and right-hander he will go. As now he comes down the straight now and trying to get hold of Kanaan in front. There's Hunter Ray losing more time to Pagano and pretty much not helping his teammate out at all, trying to keep him back at this stage. Through the right and left-hander we go now then at the moment. Looks like Fittipaldi's now dropped back a bit from Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe looking to try and see if he can close on Alonso in front of him at the moment. And let's try and look back at this the gap between the top 2 at the moment. Remember, it was 1.7 I think last time by. So let's see what the gap will be like on this lap as they now make their way around into the last chicane on the racetrack. Down the pit straight we go, and let's see the gap then between Dixon and Rosenquist as we start lap 8 of the race, heading down into the first 2 turns. And the gap between Rosenquist and Dixon now then is now, let's have a look, heading out of turn 2, 1.8 seconds. So in fact, Rosenquist is starting to stretch the gap a bit by 10. So Rosenquist starting to respond to his pace at the moment. In fact, where's Pagano? Pagano smacked it into the wall! Pagano, the championship leader, has smacked it into the wall of champions just like yesterday. In qualifying, the pressure again getting to Simon Pagano. It's advantage Fernando Alonso. That's exactly what E-Power wanted to see. The championship leader is out of the race and we're down to 20 runners. Oh, this is big now for the world, for the championship. Has Simon Pagano just binned an opportunity to be champion today? Alonso will probably be told on the radio that Pagano is out of the race, and Pagano might have just bottled a chance of being the champion today. He really needs a lot of luck on his side now if he wants to walk away with the championship. He needs something bad to happen to Alonso in 3rd place, and maybe even Fittipaldi as well, and perhaps his own teammate, depending how far he gets up through the field to win the championship. But it's now advantage Fernando Alonso and advantage E-Power as well. because at this stage, if it stays like this, Alonso will win the championship and, well, become the first driver in IFMC history to win a top class and IndyCar title. Pagenaud, has he just bottled an opportunity of being champion today and becoming the first ever driver in IFMC history to win a championship without taking a victory? Well, who knows really, but we've still got quite a long time yet, but that could be a huge implication in the outcome of the championship after today. And, well, I don't think Sean Grant, team boss of Silicon Valley Racing, can hardly believe what has just happened. For the second time in 2 days, Pagenaud has crashed it at the Wall of Champions. And, well, the guy clearly under pressure and, well, he had it all to lose, really, and it looks like he's going to lose it all today. As meantime, the top two now down to 1.6 seconds. Dixon has cut the gap by 0.2 of a second. And, well, that's that really at the moment. Meantime, we look further back now because it seems the top 8 have now sort of separated ever since Pagenaud clearly pushing too hard to try and gain onto Canaan and clearly again smacking it into the wall. As now we ride on board with Joseph Newgarden now then, who's trying to gain onto Helio Castroneves for 9th place now then as they make the way into the right left-hander, as out goes Will Power, as Castroneves in front there has a double lock-up at that corner, but out goes Will Power. What's happened to Power? And oh my goodness me, Power has rolled it at the Wall of Champions. And had he binned it as well, or did he get tipped up by another car? He has had a big crash down at the corner, and well, it's not seen. We've just caught onto it at the last minute, but Power has rolled the car, and he is out of the race, and we're down to 19 runners here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Another casualty of the Wall of Champions, and that's a big crash from Will Power. That's the second time an Eldorado has ended up on its roof this season. Scott Dixon rolling it over across at Texas Motor Speedway earlier in the season, and now Power has just done the same here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Whether somebody tipped him up or whether he caught the curb and it made the car flip, who knows really, but Power is out and we're down to 19 runners. Hopefully he's okay from that big accident, but that just puts pay to the end of what has been a terrible season for him. Down the inside goes Joseph Newgarden on Helio Castroneves, and they've made contact. The pair of them have made contact. Joseph Newgarden has spun, and I'm losing my voice here at the moment. It looks like he could get hit by the SIC in a bit. Let's have a look at the replay. So he had every right to go into the corner, and he just understeered right into the path of Castroneves. Luckily for Helio, he doesn't lose a place whatsoever, but Joseph Newgarden has spun him out. That will have to be investigated. Does the SIC hit him there? No, he just missed him there. But Joseph Newgarden has cost himself a chance at some more good points here today, coming all the way from 16th on the grid. And, well, what on earth there then? So that's the first collision we've seen down at that chicane. We saw quite a few of that last season, but what a finale we're having here today as Newgarden tries to get the car going again. He's got to be careful he doesn't beach it right into the gravel. He's trying to get the car to turn around, which he does. And, well, he's now at the back of the pack as a result. That will have to be investigated, but I wouldn't suspect anything would come out of that. As the meantime, Rosenquist's now got a huge lead because Dixon's now smacked it. Dixon has smacked it into the same corner he crashed at qualifying. So Dixon has smacked it, and both Eldorados are out of the race. Another winless season for them. And now, well, now Rosenquist has got a huge lead at the front. Scott Dixon is out of the race, and we're down to 18 runners now, as meantime Hildebrand has just is about to pass somebody into the first corner. Dixon out of the race, and well, what can we say about that then really? Let's see if we can try and catch a hold of it there. It looked like he understeered off at the chicane, but we'll try and have a look and see if we can get there in time. And I think we just missed it to the part where he smacked it, but that's the second time in 2 days now Dixon has smacked it into that corner, and he's out of the race, and we're down to 18 runners. Both Eldorados ending what has been a tricky season for them, and they are not going to be able to grab third in the team's championship as well. And I think Macamo can breathe a sigh of relief on that one as well. I think they've probably now got third wrapped up as a result. As meantime, Hildebrand did get Castroneves, took advantage of the collision that happened between Newgarden and Castroneves on the previous lap, and Hildebrand up into 8th place now then. And, well, that's that really. So, let's take a breather and let's have a look at the field then after, well, on lap 10 of the race now then. I think we're pretty much getting close now to the first of two, for the first stop for the two stoppers now then. So Rosenquist leads, Alonso second, Hinchcliffe third, Fittipaldi fourth, Rossi fifth, Canaan sixth, Hunter Ray 7th, Hildebrand 8th, Cashineva's 9th, Chilton 10th, Wickens 11th, Sato 12th, Rahal 13th, Jones 14th, O'Ward 15th, Chavez 16th, and Andretti in 17th, with Newgarden in 18th. Meantime, in the background, we saw Cashineva's possibly trying to make a move on Hildebrand, but he didn't quite make it work out, and Hildebrand still in front of the moment, and he's got up into 8th place. He's making a good recovery drive after only qualifying 20th yesterday. In qualifying, he's already up into the top 8, and that could be worrying for Pagenaud if either Fittipaldi or Alonso crash out in front, because his teammate could still snatch the championship off him at the moment, because he's now got himself up in a position where if anything happens with Alonso and Fittipaldi, he could try and snatch the championship off himself, and could even make it a 1-2 finish for Silicon Valley Racing in the Drivers' Championship, as they now make it into the first 2 turns on the racetrack. As now he just comes off the turn now, then he's starting now to pull a bit of a gap between himself and Helio Cashineves. Meantime, we've got a fight for 6th going on now between Tony Kanaan and Ryan Hunter-Ray now then, as Hunter-Ray comes out of the turn. And there is Rossi, currently looking lonely in 5th, but can Hunter-Ray try and get himself up into 6th place if he can, as they now make the way into the right left-hander. Kanaan going very defensive into that chicane, making sure that Hunter-Ray didn't go for the move, but he's understeered, took too much curb on the exit there, and Hunter-Ray now looking to try and pounce into the hairpin. Hunter-Ray in the slipstream now then, he's going to try and have a look to the inside. Can Hunter-Ray grab 6th from Tony Kanaan into the hairpin? And yes, he can. Up into 6th place goes Ryan Hunter-Ray in the E-Power car, and wow. At the moment, I think Silicon Valley, with Hildebrand currently in 8th place at the moment, which is worth 16th points at the moment. I'm just trying to work it out at this stage. 45 plus 25, which is equivalent to 60. I think at this stage, if it stays like this, then I'm trying to think actually. I think if my memory is correct, I could be wrong. But I think if it stays like this, I think Silicon Valley will still clinch the team's championship at the moment. Not by much though, but I think they're just about going to be able to clinch the team's championship if it stays like this. But the Drivers' Championship is quite important as well, and if it stays like this, Alonso will win the championship at the moment. Pagenaud has got to hope and pray something bad happens to his other 3 rivals in order for him to walk away with the championship and become the first driver in IFMC history to win the championship without taking a victory. So, as now Rosenqvist now then is coming up now towards the hairpin, and so a win this season then it's going to be for Simon Pagenaud, but the championship could still be possible providing something bad happens to Alonso Fittipaldi and his teammate Hildebrand as well, as now Rosenqvist will have come around the section of corners, and I would suspect in around 2 laps time, so around lap 14 we should see Rosenqvist coming to the pits for his scheduled stop. And so in fact, let's see if he will pit next lap then on lap 13 as he comes out of the final chicane. And is Rosenqvist going to pit at the end of this lap? Let's have a look at the bottom right of your screen. And no, he's not. He's going to stay out for quite a while now. Meantime, Fittipaldi is starting to chase down a little bit onto Hinchcliffe. Although I say that, it looks like he's a little bit further back from this onboard camera. So probably my eyes are playing up a little bit there. And but let's see the gap anyway between these two as well. On lap 13 of 69 here at Montreal, 2.1 seconds the gap being at the moment. So meantime, Hildebrand currently 8th at the moment. His next target quite a bit in front, but it's Tony Kanaan in the SIC. We'll have a look and see what the gap is like to give some sort of reference to see how much Hildebrand has got to really cut down in this race now then, as he makes his way into the first 2 turns on the racetrack. And just a note, of course, for anybody who's living outside the UK and is wondering why it's on an hour later than what it was scheduled, reason for that being is because going into this as well, there's a bit of a lock-up there then from J.R. Hildebrand, and that's that really as far as they are concerned, as now, as you can see in the background, look, Cashineves is having to fend off from Max Chilton at this stage, as now he makes his way around through the left and right-hander now then. And just looks a little bit too far back to challenge at the moment at this stage of the race, and so looking to see if he can try everything he can to really put Cashineves under a little bit of pressure at the moment. Cashineves now continuing to lose time to J.R. Hildebrand at the moment as they now make their way into the hairpin. As one of the adrenaline cars is not that far behind, that would be Robert Wickens, as Andretti is all the way at the back of the pack. Now that I remember. Coming out the hairpin now then goes Max Chilton, as he still tries to put Cashineves under a bit of pressure at the moment. It looked like he got a little bit more traction than what Cashineves did coming out of the hairpin there then as they make their way around the swooping right, left, right bus stop chicane now they're on the track. And now heading down towards the final chicane where the Wall of Champions is located, and it's already caught out 2 people, Pagenaud and Power. As now let's see the gap then between Chilton and Castaneves at this point. And they now make their way down towards the first 2 turns on the racetrack, and the gap between Chilton and Castaneves now then is now, let's have a look, into turn 2 now then we go, and the gap being, it is 0.4 seconds, so that's how that looks at the moment. Is Rosenqvist going to be pitting at the end of this lap? It doesn't look like it, so it looks like we're going to have to wait possibly another lap before he makes his scheduled stop of the race. So he's got 3.7 litres now left in the tank as he now approaches the right, left, right chicane on the track. So through the right, then the left, and then into the right-hander will go Rosenqvist as he will now come up towards the final chicane. So through the right and left-hander he goes, and let's see if he is going to pit at the end of this lap now then. Here's Alonso still in second place at the moment and looking good at the moment to take the title. He says like this, and yes, Rosenqvist, you can just about see the green lights down the bottom right, but Rosenqvist is pitting at the end of this lap for his first of 2 scheduled starts, and the pit stops are already underway because into the pits comes championship contender Pietro Fittipaldi for Panasonic Meccano Motorsport. Let's have a look at the fuel load. I think he is expected to make another stop, which he is, but quite late into the race it must be said. He will make his final stop of the race. So that's that really, as it's a 14.4 second stop for Pietro Fittipaldi as he comes trundling down pit lane. And let's see where Fittipaldi is going to rejoin as he'll soon flick off the pit limiter. And so he now flicks it off and he's going to come out in 11th place, so that's where he rejoins. P11, he rejoins behind the battling Wickens and Sato. Now Sato putting Wickens under a lot of pressure whilst at the same time trying to close in onto Max Chilton. And in fact he's Castaneves at the moment. Castaneves seems to have got lost somewhere, and there he is. He's all the way down in 17th for some odd reason, and well, he's not made a pit stop, so I wonder if he's made another mistake somewhere, because Castaneves is now all the way down in 17th place. So whatever happened to Castaneves, he's down in 17th now. So that's that really. But meantime, we now look at Rosenqvist, who'll be going straight on this lap. Into the pits comes the race leader Felix Rosenqvist for his first of 2 scheduled stops, we suspect. And Alonso is going to stay out at the moment to take the lead of the race temporarily, and through he goes. And let's see how quick the stop will be then for Felix Rosenqvist. And in fact, I'm just going to work that out in my head. Let's work that out. 26, 46, 56, 66. He's actually going to be... Is he going to be fueled to the end of the race? That looks a bit tight if it is. Hang on. 26, 36, 46, 56. No, he's actually going to be scheduled to make another stop. But like Fittipaldi, quite late on into the race. So where is Rosenqvist going to come out? Alonso also is on a 2 stop, just to let you know. And where is he going to come out now? Then he rejoins in 7th place, I think that's going to be. Yes, he's going to rejoin 7th behind JR Hildebrand. So that's where he's going to come out at the moment. And Hildebrand now then looking to try and gain some places in the pits if he can. And still not many people have come in at this stage. As now we will look at it now then. And coming into the hairpin now, then we will go on the into the hairpin as Alonso still leads the way, and I think he will be staying out for about another 2 laps. Well, I say that I think I can see green lights on the bottom right of his screen, if I am correct. Is he coming into the pits at the end of this lap? Let's have a look and see. I don't know if I just saw green lights there on the bottom right of his screen, and no, he's not. He's staying out possibly for another 2 laps or so before he makes his first of 2 stops. Here's Hinchcliffe trying to chase him down, but so far still quite a bit back at the moment. As into the first corner now then goes Alonso. So Ryan Hunter-Reay doing a good job in 4th. So far E-Power looking like they're going to get a good haul of points, but I don't think it will still be enough for them to clinch the team's title with Hildebrand at the moment where he is at this stage. And into the pits now then. Speaking of Hildebrand, he's coming into the pits at the end of this lap. So J.R. Hildebrand into the pits now then for his scheduled stop. And let's see where he's going to emerge after this pit stop now then, as he'll put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel now then. and he'll be scheduled to make another stop in around about 33 laps time. So let's see where Hildebrand is going to come out after this pit stop, as somebody else also joined him in the pits. It looked like an SIC that came in. It's a 13.9 second stop for Hildebrand, and it was Max Chilton that came into the pit, so he's in for a scheduled stop. Where is Hildebrand going to emerge? As he'll soon flick off the pit limiter, and Hildebrand is going to rejoin. Let's have a look. He's going to rejoin in 16th place behind Helio Castroneves. So in fact, Castroneves has actually got back in front of him, it seems. So that's that really. Well, then again, Castroneves did make that mistake, so he's rejoined behind Castroneves, who is on a one stop, it must be said. So Hildebrand's got to repass him again. He's also got Newgarden behind him as well, but he's scheduled to make a first stop in around about a couple of laps time, so expect him to come in quite soon as well. Here's Alonso. Will he be pitting on the next lap? Let's have a look on the bottom right. And again, it looks like he's staying out for a little bit extra. What's the gap between Hinchcliffe and Alonso at this stage of the race? As they go through the first two turns on the racetrack, it's 3.6 seconds. So that's how that looks at this stage. And electrical problems have taken care of Alexander Rossi. Rossi's got an electrical problem, and he's had to make an unscheduled stop. So probably a change of strategy is being needed now then for Alexander Rossi. And so was always going to be on the two-stop, I think, anyway. So kind of the electrical problem, I think, kind of came for him at the right time, it must be said. Let's see where Rossi then is going to rejoin after this pit stop, as he goes trundling down pit lane. And Rossi is going to rejoin in... where is he going to rejoin? He's going to rejoin in 10th position, just behind Ed Jones at the moment. Jones just goes round the outside of him and gets in front at this stage, and just in front of Graham Rahal. Also in the pits is Gabby Chavez for Macamo, so he'll be trying to help out his teammate as best as possible, but he's all the way down the field at the moment, so he's not doing his teammate a good service at this stage as he finishes off his pit stop. And let's see where Fittipaldi is going to emerge as he just comes trundling down pit lane. And Chavez is going to rejoin in last, which is 18th place. Here's Alonso, who's probably going to be about to lap him now as he comes out of the final chicane. As he just comes down the pit straight. Out goes Patricia O'Ward. So in his first ever race, Patricia O'Ward is out of the race. What's happened to him? And there he is. It's a puncture that's taken care of Patricia O'Ward in his first ever race, clearly damaging the rear suspension. But whatever the case, he smacks it into the wall. And in his first ever race, Patricia O'Ward is out of the race, and we're down to 17 runners here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And well, that's 5 retirements in this race. It's the first mechanical one we've had today, and well, physical one, you want to call it, but it was a problem that took care of Patricia O'Ward, not a crash. But Alonso is coming into the pits at the end of this lap, and he'll be scheduled to make his first of 2 stops in this race. Hinchcliffe is going to stay out for a few more laps before he makes his first of 2 stops. Maybe he could be on for a 1 stop. It all depends how much fuel he'll take once his pit stop comes into Prix, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But we know that Alonso is coming in at the end of this lap as contact between Fittipaldi and Wickens, as Wickens luckily doesn't get any damage, but one of the championship contenders' race nearly came to an end there. Did Wickens kind of cause that? Let's have a look as they go around the chicane now. Then Wickens trying to find a way through on Pietro Fittipaldi as he goes to the inside there, and he just carried a bit too much speed, and Fittipaldi just tried to avoid him there, so there was no contact, but looks like he's going to have to give up the place again to Fittipaldi, and Fittipaldi building up the speed before Wickens does, but all that has allowed Sato to get closer. Now Sato going to look to the inside. Can he pull the move off on Robert Wickens? Clearly a little bit over ambitious there for the hometown favourite, but Wickens just going to hold on to 7th place as Jones is now down the inside of Rossi. Rossi already passed him earlier, but Jones getting the place back, and he's back up into 9th place. Doesn't care if he's not racing with him. He's trying to prove a point, it must be said, after what has been a tricky season for the Amaretti's driver. As here is Fernando Alonso now. Then he's just coming down towards this right, left, right chicane, and he'll be going straight on into the pits this lap. Hinchcliffe will take the lead temporarily. And so Alonso now then coming down the straight and into the pits then goes Fernando Alonso from the lead of the race, as he'll be expected to make his first scheduled stop of the race, and it does appear it will be a 2 stop, but we'll see how much fuel he'll take then after this pit stop. And it is a 2 stop. He's put 31.9 litres in the car. That should get him to around about lap 49 before he makes his pit stop. And let's see where he's going to rejoin in and how quick the stop will be then for the man who's currently looking good to take the title today now that Pagenaud is out of the race. Where is Rosenqvist at the moment? Rosenqvist should still be in front of him at the moment as he had quite a big lead. Well, I'd say that. It's actually going to be quite close because Alonso's already at the end of the pit lane. Where is Rosenqvist now then as Alonso comes out of the pit lane? And there's Alonso. Has he got the jump on Rosenqvist now then? Taking on a little bit less fuel and he takes it. Alonso has got the jump on Rosenqvist in the pit stop. And Alonso, once Hinchcliffe makes his stop in a few laps time, will take the lead of the race. But Rosenqvist is not going to give up on him. Rosenqvist all over the backside and looking to try and retake the place after losing it in the pit stops. Now coming around the left and right hander now then we go as they will now approach the left-right chicane on the racetrack. Rosenqvist trying to put Alonso under some pressure now then and trying to get the lead back once everybody in front of them makes their stops. As now going down the straight then we go. Well, Kanaan is going to be out for quite a while. He's on a one stop, but the top two of Hinchcliffe and Hunter-Reay are on the two stop at the moment as it looks like Alonso is now starting to stretch his advantage, it seems. So he's now starting to get the hammer down and he's now starting to pull it away from Felix Rosenqvist now then as they make their way through the hairpin. And Alonso now then starting to build the gap now then in front. Rosenqvist starting to lose time and clearly Alonso and E-Power clearly calling that one right, being out for quite a while as he's now in front. Could that even work out for James Hinchcliffe as well? We'll have to wait and see, but I think that also kind of depends how much fuel he takes. We don't know if he could be on a two-stop or whether he'll try and stretch it to do a one-stop. We'll have to wait and see as both Alonso and Rosenqvist just come out of the final chicane there. And those guys are going to stay out for quite a while now. Then Hildebrand not really getting onto Pagenaud at the moment, so things not looking good for him at the moment if he wants to win the title. So Lee's group of cars look to be scrapping it out in a little bit at the moment. As we look now then at Felix Rosenqvist, who is losing time now to Fernando Alonso. As Takuma Sato in the Fantari car is into the pits, probably breaking away from that train, it must be said. And just looking at the field, he'll be expected to make another stop, but quite late into the race. Looks like, I don't know what mechanics they are that have come out. Looks like Target Andy Graham mechanics, and that's Joseph Newgarden, who's coming into the pits and on this lap now then, as he makes his final stop, as they come trundling down pit lane. And let's see where Sato is going to be joining, and then we'll see in a bit where Newgarden is going to emerge. Sato flicks off the pit limiter and he's going to rejoin in 16th place as Newgarden is going to come out in last place at the moment. Hinchcliffe going to put a lap on him now then as he starts another lap on the track as he now makes his way into the first two turns on the racetrack. I'll probably expect Hinchcliffe to pit on the next lap, but we'll wait and see as Newgarden is just rejoined on the track now then. As meantime, Rossi trying to still put some pressure on Ed Jones at the moment after losing time to him. Jones in around about a few laps time will be expected to make his pit stop quite soon, but Rossi already being held up by the Emirates driver, probably getting a little bit frustrated. He's been stuck behind him for quite a while now then if they make their way around the chicane. Remember, these two were in championship contention last season, but they're not today. Only Pagenaud from last season has been able to be in championship contention for this season, but it looks like he could have binned his chance of being champion after smacking it into the wall of champions earlier on in the race, which is why it's now advantage Alonso at this stage. All the pressure getting to Alonso now to try and take the title. Rossi wasn't close enough that time by to try and put a pass on Ed Jones at the moment, but he's right in the slipstream now and looking to try and put a pass on him if he can as they make their way down towards the chicane. As now into the right left chicane now then we will go as they just make their way out of the turn now then through the left and right hander now then we will now go as now into the left and right hander, and now through the right hander we go as now we come down the straight towards the right left chicane. And now Rossi's got a run. Can he try and get him into the chicane? He's going to look to the inside. Can he get the car stopped in time? And yes, he can. That's a perfect pass from Alexander Rossi. And up into 8th place goes the Fantari Racing driver. That's P8 now. for Alexander Rossi, but will Ed Jones try and get him back into the hairpin now that he's in the slipstream? Rossi might have to do a bit of defending. Jones just finds a gap on the inside. Can he get the place back? No, he can't. Rossi just able to hang around the outside and hold on to 8th place. That's now put Graham Rahal in the Martini Inertia close to the back of him now. Then Martini, of course, in their final race and looking to give their team a good send-off as they are focusing just purely on the top class from Season 5 onwards. As now, just coming out of that bus stop chicane now, then we will go on the track. As meantime, Alonso is slowly closing up onto the one stopping Tony Kanaan now then. So he looks like he could try and gain another place, it seems. As now he just goes around this long swooping right-hander. Rosenqvist continuously losing time now to Alonso, and it looks like a victory could be down the toilet for him as far as he is concerned, as Fittipaldi rounds that chicane now then on the track. As here's Chavez currently 15th at the moment, as we look at Hinchcliffe, who's coming into the pits at the end of this lap. So he's pitting at the end of this lap. Is Hunter Ray as well? Yes, he is. So the top two are coming into the pits at this time. Looks like Jones is also coming into the pits as well, judging from the bottom right of Newgarden's cockpit. Into the pits then comes James Hinchcliffe from Martini Inertia, and also will be coming in goes Ryan Hunter Ray. That should give Tony Kanaan the lead, but he'll have Alonso all over the backside of him, attacking him for the lead of the race as they now make their scheduled stops. And it is a 2-stop for Hinchcliffe, so it's not going to be the 1 stop for Hinchcliffe. He's going to be out there until around about lap 55, I would suspect, before he makes his pit stop. It's also in is Ryan Hunter Ray for E-Power now then. As here is Alonso and Kanaan. Kanaan will take the lead temporarily, but as mentioned, he's got Alonso breathing down his neck. The 2-stop in Alonso. Hinchcliffe finishes his stop. Rosenqvist goes through as well. Can Hinchcliffe get the jump on Rosenqvist? No, he can't. Rosenqvist is going to be in 2nd place once he either passes Kanaan or Kanaan pits. But he's on a 1-stop, of course, so Kanaan could find himself with a good chance of a podium or maybe some high points at this stage. Hunter Ray now, then, where's he going to emerge? He's going to emerge in 6th place in front of Robert Wickens. So that's where Ryan Hunter Ray is going to emerge, as Fittipaldi has lost a lot of time now to Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe with a big gap after the pit stops between himself and Pietro. As anybody else in the pits, I think I saw somebody else's names flashed up. Yes, it was Ed Jones in the pits. So where's he going to emerge then after this pit stop? And then we'll try and get back to the leaders. He finishes off his pit stop, and it looks like he's going to emerge. It looks like it's going to be 16th place at the moment. So with Newgarden quite a way down, his teammate. And through will go Sato. It's obviously Newgarden's last race with Target Underground Racing before he moves to E-Power next season. Looking more likely he'll be alongside Fernando Alonso, who's got... he's pretty much now looking to be in contention for the title, but now he's all over the backside of Tony Kanaan's SIC. Can he try and grab the lead possibly into the final chicane? We've seen people fail at this. Can Alonso try and pull it off as they now come out of that bus stop chicane now into the final chicane? Can Alonso grab the lead from Tony Kanaan? And he goes straight on. Alonso has overdone it. He's overcooked it. Luckily, he does not get any damage from that, but Kanaan's just going to get the lead back. So Alonso a little bit overdriving it a bit. He's got to be careful if he wants to win the championship today. And, well, if he bins it, that'll be championship over for the Spaniard. And he nearly quite binned it there. And clearly overdid it there. And Kanaan was able to swoop back into the lead. And Alonso's got to try again at the lead. It's brought Rosenqvist now just a tad bit closer to the gap. Now 2.8 seconds between himself and Fernando Alonso. And he'll now try and close up if he can, as Alonso's now again getting held up by Tony Kanaan's SIC as he now make the way into the left-right chicane. Can Alonso try and get him before the bridge now, then coming off that right-hander now, then Alonso trying to get in the slipstream of Tony Kanaan if he can. There's Rosenqvist in the background now then. Can Alonso grab the lead this time by into the chicane? Is he close enough to possibly try and move? No, Kanaan defends into that right-hander. Going through the left now, then we go. Can Alonso possibly get him into the hairpin just like he did on Dixon earlier on in the race? Alonso looking to the inside. Can he grab the lead now then from Tony Kanaan? And it looks like a Kanaan again. He's going to hold on. And contact's been made between Alonso and Kanaan there then. And, well, he's pushed his way through there, has Fernando Alonso. And I wonder if the stewards will have a word with that one, because that was a little bit clumsy there from Alonso, just shoving Kanaan off there then in the process. But Kanaan looks like he's going to try and get back in the slipstream now then of the Spaniard as he now approach the final chicane. And it doesn't look like he's close enough at this point. And, well, that's that really. But Alonso has kind of pushed his way through a little bit. And he's got himself up into the lead, but I wonder if the stewards will possibly have a word with that as well, as they will now come up towards the first 2 turns on the track. And, well, that's that really as far as they are concerned. As they now just come out of turn number 2 then on the track. As now coming up towards the right and left-hander we will now go. As now they just come around the section of corners now, then Rosenquist now they're starting to close onto Tony Kanaan. As James Hinchcliffe now then is starting to close in onto Rosenquist himself, so they're quite close to each other, it must be said. And but that was one interesting way for Alonso to get by, that's for sure. Meantime, we've got a battle for 7th brewing now between Watkins and Rossi. And well, in real life, Rossi actually took him out at St. Petersburg after going over the white line. As now Rossi now then will try and find a way through on Robert Wickens, and unable to get the move done there. Can he possibly try and get him underneath the bridge now then, just like he did on Ed Jones a few laps ago? Rossi now in the slipstream of Wickens. Can he get the move done? He tries to look to the outside, then flicks it back to the inside. Can Rossi pull the move off? No, Wickens shuts the door there and holds on to 7th, and Rossi has to back out, and now he's lost quite a lot of momentum, and Wickens now has a bit of a gap now in front of Alexander Rossi. And so that's that really. Meantime, Andretti has made his way up through the field, is now all over the backside of Graham Rahal now. Then can he try and get him into the hairpin now? Then Andretti's going to look to the inside. Can he pull the move off? There's a gap on the inside, just about, and that's the position game for Andretti. Up into 9th place goes Marco Andretti in the adrenaline car, and Rahal loses a place as a result. Rossi not close enough to try and get Wickens into the last chicane there, so he's just going to have to hold on for the moment. It's Rosenquist now then getting close now to the backside of Tony Kanaan now then. As now coming up towards the right-left chicane, we will now go through the right and then the left we go. So Rosenquist uses a tad bit of curb there on the outside around the right-hander now, then we will go. As Rosenquist tries to find a way through then on Tony Kanaan, and he's getting quite close to him now, and he could try and get a run on him before the bridge, but we'll wait and see now. Then there's Alonso with quite a bit of a gap now in front. Let's see if Rosenquist can find a way through on Kanaan. Can he get him before the bridge? He doesn't look close enough, so he's probably now going to have to wait for the hairpin. He's got to be careful because Hinchcliffe is also getting close to the backside of him as well. Through the left-hander we go now. And can Rosenquist get the move done on Tony Kanaan into the hairpin now? Then he tucks up into his slipstream. He's going to look to the inside. Can Rosenquist pull the move off? And it doesn't look like he was close enough that time by, and he's going to have to hang back for the moment, and possibly will have to try and get him at the exit if he can, or possibly at the chicane where Alonso failed to pass him earlier. As also now on the back of them is James Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe wanting to see if he can try and get a move done as well, as they all make their way around through the chicane. Hinchcliffe closer to Rosenquist than what Rosenquist is on Kanaan now. Then can Hinchcliffe try and get him into the final chicane where others have failed now? Then he's going to look to the inside. Can Hinchcliffe pull the move off? Can he get the car stopped? He can't quite get the move done. He had to back out of it. He's probably seen what others have done and is backed out of it. Rosenquist just going to hold on for the moment, wasn't risking it for a Chocky Biscuit there, was the mayor of Hinchtown, and probably having to wait again, but that's obviously cost Rosenquist a bit of time now to Tony Kanaan, and now probably having to worry a little bit more about what Hinchcliffe is doing behind than what Kanaan is doing in front. And now coming out of turn 2, we will now go as they'll make their way into the right-left chicane very soon. Hinchcliffe trying to put Rosenquist under some pressure now, then through the corner where Dixon crashed a little bit earlier today, and cost himself a chance to find again Eldorado, their first ever victory in IFMC IndyCar, and cost them any chance of grabbing third from Macamo in the team's championship. As now through the left and right-hander we go, as they're both getting close now to the back of Kanaan again. As now coming down the straight, Alonso now with quite a huge lead in front. The stewards will probably want to work with him for that contact, but I wouldn't be surprised if not much would come out of that, and possibly just either get a tap of the wrist or maybe get a little time penalty. We'll have to wait and see, but he didn't push Kanaan off the track, he just only tapped him a bit. We've seen similar situations like that before, so in IFMC history, so I won't be surprised. There's now Hinchcliffe on the inside of Felix Rosenquist. Can he pull the move off? And yes, he can. Up into 3rd place goes James Hinchcliffe in the Martini. That will be P2, I think. But then again, Kanaan is possibly now in this scrap for the podium now, because he's on a 1-stop and pretty much possibly in sync with these guys, although he's running 20 litres less than what Hinchcliffe is running. He is on older tyres, which is why Hinchcliffe is able to get hold of him at the moment now. That as they make their way into the final chicane now, that Alonso has started lap 29 of 69, so 41 laps to go then here at the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve was 6 minutes away from the 2 o'clock mark, for anybody wondering. And we haven't quite got yet to the halfway stage of the race. That's in around about 6 laps time we will get there. And 5 to 6 laps time we will get there. As Hinchcliffe now then starting to get all over the backside of Tony Kanaan now then for second place. And now pretty much leaving Rosenquist behind for dust. Rosenquist could try and take advantage again if Hinchcliffe gets held up by Kanaan himself. As they now make their way around this chicane now then. As Hinchcliffe now then goes around the left. And then the right-hander he will now go. As they will soon approach the left-right chicane very soon through the left. As Kanaan's actually locked up and he's gone straight on. Kanaan's gone straight on and he's collected Hinchcliffe and he's had a huge crash. The car has split in half. And what on earth was that from Tony Kanaan? And well, he has caused a huge crash with James Hinchcliffe. And James Hinchcliffe, for the 3rd race in a row, is going to be out of the race. And we're going to be down to 16 runners here in the race. Let's have a look. And as you can see, Kanaan just running out of road, and he's just pulled off dangerously into the path of James Hinchcliffe, and Hinchcliffe's car has split in half, and James Hinchcliffe is out of the race, and we're down to 16 runners here at the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve, Karen Anderson will be absolutely furious with that one, and well, that will be investigated after the race, that is for sure. As Rosenquist is taking advantage now and has got up to second. So up into second place goes Felix Rosenquist. But the stewards will probably want to word with Tony Kanaan about that one. But Rosenquist still going defensive. He can still feel the pressure a little bit from Tony Kanaan. As he just comes out of the hairpin. As now they come down the straight before approaching the right, left, right chicane. And Kanaan looks like he's a little bit too far back to challenge at this stage now then, so the Canadian fans will be possibly booing Kanaan after that one, as one of their hometown favourites, James Hinchcliffe, has crashed out of the race, nearly flipping the car, but splitting the car in half in the process to bring himself out of the race, and we're down now to 16 runners as a result. And well, that's that really is now. Meantime, J.R. Hildebrand is now coming up to the back of the other Martini of Graham Rahal. Can Hildebrand try and get a knife off Rahal into the final chicane now then? He's tucked up into his slipstream now then. Is he going to look to the inside? He is. Is Hildebrand going to pull the move off, whereas others have failed? Down the inside, has he got the place? And a little bit of contact's been made, but I think he'll just get away with that one. And Hildebrand gets up into 9th place. He got ahead before the contact anyway, so Hildebrand now then up into 9th place and gain the place now then off Graham Rahal. But now Helio Castaneras will try and take full advantage into the first corner, and he gets the place. Up into 10th place goes Helio Castaneras, and Chilton also looking to take advantage. Was there contact there between the pair of them? I'm not quite sure, but Chilton up into 11th place, and that's that for him. So that's P11 for him now then. Alonso now with quite a huge lead and in front now then, as he just comes out of the hairpin, heading down towards the right, left, right chicane on the track, and still yet to make a second stop. But we're now going to be starting lap 31 of 69 quite soon now in this race. So Alonso will have specifically 38 laps to go. No, sorry, 39 laps to go here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve for him to take the title, as he's got 21.1 litres. We are expecting him to make another stop at around about lap 49, which is 21 laps to go to the end, so expect Alonso to pit at that stage. Kanaan's losing time now. Meantime, Hunter Ray starting to close in a bit now onto Pietro Fittipaldi for 4th place, so we've got a bit of a battle brewing on here for 4th, as now they make their way into the first 2 turns on the track. And let's see the gap this time by between Hunter Ray and Pietro Fittipaldi coming out of turn 2, and let's see the gap now then, and it's 1.5 seconds, so that's what the gap looks like. 1.5 seconds the gap between Fittipaldi and Hunter Ray now then, so that's that really, as now Hunter Ray will be trying to see if he can cut that down a little bit more on this lap and try and help Alonso a bit more in case Fittipaldi tries to takes advantage in the well, at the moment if it stays like this, Alonso will win it, but you never know, of course, if anything could happen to Alonso in front. And Hunter Ray will try and help out as much as he can now then. And he comes out of that right left stander now then, trying to chase down Fittipaldi as much as possible now then, as they make their way down in towards the hairpin now then. As we are 1 minute away now then from the 2 o'clock mark, coming out of the hairpin. As now round the left hand, there we go, as they will come down the straight. as now he will come around the right, left, right chicane very soon on the track. So around the chicane he goes, coming off the turn, as now he will approach the final chicane now then, and we'll have a look and see what the gap is like this time by coming out of the final chicane. And the gap between Hunter-Reay and Fittipaldi now then is now, as they come down towards the first two corners now then, the gap being into turns 1 and 2. So through turn 1 and then into turn 2, the gap being, coming out the corner, now being, let's have a look, if it comes up, 1.3 seconds. So it looks like Hunter-Reay has gained a few tenths there on Fittipaldi that time by to get it down to 1.3. So Hunter-Reay still pushing on to try and get the place of Fittipaldi in this race. I'm looking to try and grab 4 from him if he can. Into the left and right hand, there we go. And just trying to check up on the team's championship if I can. Where is J.R. Hildebrand at the moment? Hildebrand currently in 9th, which is worth 16 points. Just trying to work that out in terms of tallies. Alonso leads the race, which is worth 50 points. None of them have got the fastest lap at the moment. That goes to Will Power at this stage. And Hunter-Reay is currently occupying 5th, which is worth 30 points, so that'll be 80 points to 16. I can tell you, if the result stays like this, then E-Power will win the team's championship. They'll snatch it off Silicon Valley Racing with J.R. Hildebrand down in 9th, with Alonso leading and Hunter-Reay 5th. If it stays like this, E-Power will claim the team's title. So that's that really. As they now come down the straight, heading through the right, left, right-hander. They will soon go now. They're around these section of corners. Hunter-Reay now then trying to put some pressure on Fittipaldi in front now then, as they will approach the final chicane now, then around the right and then the left, and then coming down the straight will now go. Got a better traction there than what Fittipaldi had coming out of that corner. That looked like a poor exit from Fittipaldi, it must be said. Let's see the gap this time by between Fittipaldi and Hunter-Reay heading into the first 2 turns out in on the track, and the gap between them is now, let's have a look, through turn 2 we go, and the gap being, coming off the turn, is 0.7 seconds. So Hunter-Reay is taking 6 tenths out of Fittipaldi's lead, and also at the same time the pair of them are starting to close in on Tony Kanaan's SIC, so it could become a 3-way scrap for 3rd at the moment, and they're both getting close now to the back of Kanaan, as now they will approach the left, right, left chicane on the track. So through the chicane we will go, around the left and then into the right hand, there we go, as now they will come down the long straight. And let's see what Hunter-Reay can do, as he will try his best to get hold of Fittipaldi for 4th. Into the left and right hand, there we go. As now he's got a good exit. Can he possibly try and get Fittipaldi into the hairpin, or will Fittipaldi use the slipstream of Kanaan to just stay in front? It doesn't look like he's waiting on the moment. Hunter-Reay getting close. Can he try and possibly dive it into the hairpin? No, he can't. Wasn't close enough. Fittipaldi just going to hold on now then into the hairpin, and now it's become a 3-way scrap for 3rd. As they come off the turn now, they're on the track through the left-hander, as they will soon come up towards the right, left, right chicane. Fittipaldi now on the pressure as Hunter-Reay has got the slipstream of Fittipaldi. Can he try and pull the move off into the final chicane now then? Hunter-Reay trying his best, and it looks like the momentum might be lost. Fittipaldi defends the inside. Hunter-Reay going to try and risk it, but he thinks better of it, going to back out, and he's lost himself some momentum. So Fittipaldi just going to hold on, as now Fittipaldi will try and grab 3rd if he can from Tony Kanaan in front, as they make their way down toward the first 2 turns. And as you can see, Rossi is not that far behind as well, so it could become a 4-way scrap for 3rd. If the 3 of them keep fighting in front, Rossi could feed himself into that fight as well. Remember, Kanaan under investigation for causing that crash with James Hinchcliffe, so he might not even stay in that position for that long. Alonso under investigation as well for a little collision with Kanaan, but as said, wouldn't be expected to see too much from that collision. Also, a lap 1 collision between Bourdais and who was the other one that made contact with him? It was Hunter-Reay as well. So Hunter-Reay was also investigating for that. So he could find himself in a little bit of trouble, and that could maybe help Silicon Valley out from stopping E-Power from winning the team's championship. But we'll have to wait and see how that one will pan out, as now we come down towards the chicane now. They're on the track for the right, left chicane, as now Fittipaldi will come out of that chicane now. They're heading up towards the hairpin. Can Fittipaldi pull the move off? He's now going to look to the inside. Can Fittipaldi get 3rd now then of Tony Kanaan? And he's going back to the inside, dives it down the inside, but Kanaan just going to hold on to 3rd for the moment, and it's now put Fittipaldi under pressure from Ryan Hunter-Reay again. Coming out of the hairpin now, then we will go, as he just comes off the turn now. They're heading in towards the right, left, right chicane on the track. And so now coming around the right Down the left, he tried to have a go into the S's, but Fittipaldi covered him off. Now approaching the chicane again. Will Hunter-Reay pull the move off again into the chicane? He's going to look to the inside. Can he pull the move off this time? By again, doesn't risk it and backs out of it on that time by. And probably realised what happened between him and Bordy earlier, and he doesn't want to risk another collision at that chicane. As Rossi has now got himself a little bit closer now to this scrap as we now come into the first few turns on the racetrack through turn 1 and then into turn 2 now. Then we will go. As Hunter-Reay now then puts pressure on Fittipaldi. Kanan's got a bit of a gap now in front of these two. Rossi now starting to close in on these guys as well. Fittipaldi goes defensive into the chicane, feeling the pressure a bit from Ryan Hunter-Reay. Through the chicane we will now go. As they come off the corner now, they're on the track. Heading through the section of corners now, then we will go around the right-hander. As now we come up towards the left-right chicane we will go. And so through the left and then into the right we go. As now coming out of the corner now, then we go heading down the straight. And can Hunter-Reay try and pull the move off if he can? He's going to try and look to the outside of Fittipaldi underneath the bridge. Isn't going to work out. So maybe have to wait into the hairpin to see if he can try and pull the move off, trying to get a good exit out the corner, which he does. He now gets the slipstream off Pietro Fittipaldi, and even Rossi is now run up with him as well, looking on from behind. Hunter-Reay now then on the inside of Fittipaldi. Can he grab fourth from the Brazilian into the hairpin? Down the inside he goes, and he can. Up into fourth place goes Ryan Hunter-Reay. Will Rossi also follow through as well now then as he goes side by side with Fittipaldi coming out the turn? Rossi then trying to take advantage, and that is a very sneaky opportunistic move there from Alexander Rossi, and up into fifth place goes the American as he'll now start to chase down Hunter-Reay himself now for fourth place, but that's P5 for the Fantari of Alexander Rossi. Now can he try and get Hunter-Reay for fourth as the pair of them also try and chase down Kanan in front. In fact, Kanan's bailed out. He's coming into the pits for his one and only stop. So into the pits comes Tony Kanan. That lifts Hunter-Reay up into third and Rossi up to fourth, and Fittipaldi back up into fifth place. Let's see how quick the stop will be, and as you can see as predicted, trying to work that out actually, as yes, again, it is predicted, as predicted it is, Kanan making a one stop in this race, a 13.9 second stop for the Brazilian. Of course, under investigation, he'll now have that looming over him, and so now as he comes down pit lane, let's see where Kanan is going to be joined into the pits. Also comes one stop in Helio Castroneves, Kanan's fellow compatriot. Kanan is going to be joining 10th, I think, just in front of Gabby Chavez, so he just gets himself in front there as Castroneves is into the pits this time by. Let's see how quick the stop will be for him as he pulls out of his box, and let's see where he's going to emerge then after the pit stops as he comes trundling down pit lane. And let's see where he is going to rejoin now then. And Castroneves is going to rejoin, let's see. And he's going to rejoin in 16th place, which is effectively last. And it looks like he's going to be a lap down from Racino Alonso, although he just got out in front. It looks like Alonso's going to have to put a lap on him now then, coming out of turn 2. As now heading into the right-left chicane we will go. And so now coming off the turn we go, as now they come around the right-hander, heading into the left-right chicane we will soon go. And so coming off the turn now then we go, as they'll soon approach the hairpin, and at the moment Castroneves is not letting him go at the moment. Robert Wickens, I think that said, is coming to the pits. He has, so the hometown favourite into the pits, and let's see where he's going to rejoin then after the stop. And let's see where he's going to come out now then, as he just puts on a fresh pair of boots on the car. And it is a 13.5 second stop for Robert Wickens. And let's see where he's going to rejoin now then, as others go through past him. Wickens is going to rejoin, let's see. He's going to rejoin in 15th place, so that's where he's going to come out in front of Castroneves, way in front of Castroneves it must be said. Alonso still not being let go by Helio Castroneves, probably because of the fact that Helio's probably got a little bit fresher tyres on him, so he's able to stretch away just a bit from Alonso. Alonso not expected to make his second stop for another 12 laps, I would suspect, so around about lap 49 we should see him come into the pits. He comes around the first two turns on the track. Rossi though starting to lose a bit of time now to Ryan Hunter-Reay. Hunter-Reay starting to stretch the advantage a bit in front of him, and Fittipaldi trying to claw back if he can to that battle, but he's slipping away a bit as well. Meantime, JR Hildebrand currently up in 7th place and could rescue Silicon Valley's Teams Championship now that he's up in 7th. And Max Chilton currently behind, but he's yet to make a second stop, so that could bring Kanaan back up through the field, and maybe even Castroneves as well, but we'll wait and see. But Hildebrand starting to close in now onto Marco Andretti for 6th place in the Adrenaline car, looking to see if he can get a place. In fact, it looks like Andretti's going to bail out and go into the pits, which he does in fact. So into the pits comes Andretti, so Hildebrand now then up into 6th place, and let's see how quick the stop is going to be then for Marco Andretti in the Adrenaline Motorsport car, as he will put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. Wipe up the visor from him there then. Where is he going to emerge now then? And let's see now then as he puts on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. And how long is the stop? It is a 13.9 second stop for Marco Andretti. And let's see where that's going to bring him out into play. He's obviously fueled to the end of the race. And he'll soon flick off the pit limiter, and he's going to rejoin in 15th place. So that's where he comes out. 15th place for him, behind Takuma Sato and just in front of Helio Castroneves, as Alonso goes into the first 2 turns on the track, losing a bit of pace to Castroneves, but I don't think he's bothering anyway, because he's still got a big lead in front of Felix Rosenquist. There's his teammate still under investigation in 3rd, Ryan Hunter-Reay, for causing that lap one collision with Sebastian Bourdais. Whether he did cause it or whether the stewards will take a dim look at that, we'll have a look. And probably, who knows, maybe Bourdais turned during the braking, moved on the braking, it should be said, and probably caused his own accident. Who knows really. Here's Chilton still trying to gain onto the back of Hildebrand if he can, as he tries to grab 6th from him now then, as they make their way around through these S's now then on the track. Here's Kanaan in 8th, trying to close in on his own teammate if he can. Approaching the final chicane now then, we will go round the right and left hander he goes as he comes down the straight. And let's see what Kanaan can do. What's the gap between him and teammate Max Chilton? Heading into the first 2 turns, we've got 31 laps to go here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. 31 laps till the end of the IFMC IndyCar season for season 4-5. As it's 2.2 seconds the gap between the 2 SIC teammates at this stage of the race. As meantime, we've got a battle for 12th emerging between Rahal and Wickens now then. Wickens, I think, has already made a stop. He has. Rahal scheduled to make a stop, but Wickens not going to be racing any time, it seems, whatsoever at the moment, as he comes out of turn 2, trying to find a way through on Graham Rahal if he can. And so far, it's not going to be a good final race to remember for Martini and Urgio at this stage, with Hinchcliffe crashing out and Rahal all the way down in 12th place, and look like he'll drop a further few places once he makes his final stop. So now they will approach the left-right chicane. And will Wickens try and get him underneath the bridge? Coming off the turn now, then he will go. As now they come down the straight. And let's see what's going to happen now then. As now Wickens is going to look to the inside. Can he get the move done on Graham Rahal? And, well, he nearly did. But, oh, contact! And Rahal's had the same sort of coincidence as what Hinchcliffe has had. So Martini in their final race as Wickens, well, I don't know if you want to put the blame on him there, but he went on the grass and, well, don't know if you want to blame him on that one because he only went partially off the track there, but Rahal has crashed it and he's out of the race, and we're down to 15 runners now then in Martini and Urgi's final ever race. It is going to be a retirement for Rahal, both of them out in their final ever race, and we wish him all the best in the future. It's still unclear who will be the team that will replace him for the next season. Hopefully we'll know possibly during the season 5 championship who the team will be that will replace Martini and Urgia for season 5-6. There's Alonso now then, the race leader, and still got quite a big lead now then in front of Felix Rosenquist. That incident will be investigated, I'm sure, but we'll wait and see if the stewards think that Wickens were to blame or whether it was just a racing incident. We'll wait and see on that. Meantime, Kanaan, though, still getting closer to the backside of Max Chilton, still trying to grab 7th from him. Kanaan also with an investigation looming over him as well, because of the crash he caused with James Hinchcliffe just coming out the turn they've just gone out of. Now coming down straight we go. Now they're heading in towards the right left-hander. We will now go into the chicane. We go then through the right and then the left as they come off the turn. Now they're heading down the straight, and let's see what Tony Kanaan can do. Is he'll try and find a way through on Max Chilton if he can, as they'll make their way into the hairpin. I wonder if there'll be team orders at play probably at SIC, but we'll wait and see on that as he just come off the turn, heading into the right, left, right chicane. Heading towards the section of corners out on the track. They will go, and Canaan trying to put Chilton under some pressure if he can, as they will now approach the final chicane on the track through the right and then into the left hand. There we go, as Canaan looks to try and find a way through. There's JR Hildebrand with quite a long way back now then from Pietro Fittipaldi, but I think if it stays like this at the moment, because he's currently in 6th, which is worth 25 points, if it stays like this, I'm trying to work it out off the top of my head, in fact, 90, it will still actually not be enough for Silicon Valley to win the title, with Hunter Ray currently in 3rd place. But remember, Hunter Ray has got an investigation looming over him, so that could give Silicon Valley Racing the team's title if Hunter Ray is found guilty of that collision with Sebastian Bourdais on lap 1. As now Tony Kanaan now then just trying to find a way through on Max Chilton if he can, as they come out of the chicane now then heading down the straight we go. Can Kanaan find a way through into the chicane just after the bridge? Is he close enough to possibly put a pass on Chilton? And coming up towards the chicane we go. Will he try and go for a lunge? He is, and the two teammates have come together. The two teammates have come together, and well, that's put Kanaan possibly under a little bit more trouble as he's pushed his own teammate into that chicane. Whether Chilton moved on the braking, I'm not sure, but it will be under investigation after the race. That collision, that's another investigation that Kanaan has got looming over him now, as he's now pushed his own teammate off and has pushed him down into 9th place. I bet Max is going to be like, what is he doing, on the team radio to team boss Asal Zafri, and well, I bet the Malaysian is going to be absolutely furious with that one. As now he might have Joseph Newgarden to worry about, as he's now trying to find a way through on him. So that's 9 investigations. It's going to be a busy night for the stewards, it must be said, to come to a conclusion with those incidents. As Chilton now then comes out of the final chicane. As now they just come off the turn. Here is Fernando Alonso, currently leading the way, and still with quite a big lead in front, as they will soon approach the final chicane on the racetrack. So through the right and then into the left he goes, and all things looking good for him at the moment to claim the championship today, as he will come down the pit straight and head in towards the first two corners to start lap 43 of 69 now then. So we have specifically 27 laps to go here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. As meantime, here is Rosenquist, and looks like he could soon come under threat from Ryan Hunter Ray, so it could even be an E-Power 1-2 at this stage, as Hunter Ray is closing in onto Rosenquist quite rapidly, it must be said, as they now approach the first 2 turns on the racetrack. Now they're through turn 1 and then into turn 2, and so now just coming off the turn, and so now heading down towards the right chicane. And Hunter Ray now they're just coming off the turn, heading into the section of corners, as he's slowly closing in now onto the back of Felix Rosenquist, heading into the left-right chicane we go. And let's see if Hunter Ray can try and pull the move off on Rosenquist. If he can, heading down the straight we will go. And Hunter Ray looking to do something that we've seen quite familiar in the top class last season, of course, a 1-2 for Etihad. But of course Hunter Ray, as mentioned, does have that investigation looming over him, so that might not last long by the end of the race, but we'll wait and see really what the stewards think of that one with him and Bourdais. Now into the hairpin now then we will go, as he uses the curb on the outside there then, as he makes his way through that left-hander, and he'll soon come up towards the right, left, right S's, or the chicane before approaching the last chicane on the track. And Hunter Ray not close enough to possibly put a pass there into the last chicane, but he could get close enough to him on the next lap. We'll wait and see on that. Into the final chicane now then we go on the racetrack. Through the chicane we go, as now Hunter Ray now then trying to put Rosenquist under quite a lot of pressure, it must be said, as they'll now approach the first 2 turns on the racetrack. Into the first corner we go, through turn 1 and then into turn 2. We will now go as he just comes off the turn, heading down towards the right, left chicane. So through the right and then into the left. As looked like there, Rosenquist just slightly missed the apex there going into the chicane, and Hunter Ray was able to gain just a little bit there on the Swede. Through the left-right chicane we go. Can Hunter Ray possibly try and move on him on this lap now? Then he'll try and get the slipstream on him if he can, coming up towards the Montreal bridge into the right-left chicane we will go. Then through the right and then into the left-hander we will now go on the track. As we're now heading down the straight we go. And can Hunter Ray get the move done? He tried to have a go, but Rosenqvist fended off the inside to hold off Hunter Ray. That time by as they come off the hairpin now. Then Hunter Ray will try and have a go, possibly at the last chicane where others have failed previously. In fact, he's already in the slipstream. He's actually going to try and look to the inside into these S's. It's not quite work out. Rosenqvist able to fend off for the moment as they will now approach the final chicane. Can Hunter Ray get the move done on Felix Rosenqvist? He's going to look to the inside. Can he pull it off? No, he's had to back out of it last minute and nearly had cream crackers into the back of him, which he just about got stopped. So Hunter Ray having to back out for the moment and probably reassess and try again. We've got some pit mechanics out as Alexander Rossi is in for his final stop of the afternoon. Alexander Rossi into the pits now then, as he will put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. A quick wipe of the visor for Rossi now then. And let's see where he's going to be joining after this pit stop. It's an 11.2 second stop from the Fantasia Mechanics. And where is he going to emerge? Hildebrand coming up towards the final chicane. He's still yet to make a stop. There's Kanaan. He was close to him. Can Rossi possibly get the jump on Kanaan now? Then Kanaan's come out of the final chicane. It looks like Rossi's just going to be able to do it. Let's see as he comes out of the pit lane. And he is going to. So Rossi has got the jump on Kanaan and has got up into what will be 6th place for him. So Kanaan losing time in the pits. Meantime, Hunter Ray had to go at Rosenqvist into the chicane. Wasn't able to make it stick. Rosenqvist shut the door on him there into the corner. Now, can Hunter Ray get him into the hairpin? He's going to look to the inside. Can Hunter Ray pull the move off now? Then down the inside goes the E-Power driver into the hairpin. And he does it. Hunter Ray up into 2nd place. It is now an E-Power 1-2. And that will put a smile on team boss Oliver Glazebrook's face. That is for sure. As Hunter Ray up into 2nd place. Rosenqvist though, can he try and get back in the slipstream? I'm going to try and get him back onto him into the last chicane. It doesn't look like he's close enough, so Hunter Ray is going to hold on to 2nd place for the moment. So up into P2 then goes Ryan Hunter Ray now then, and Rosenqvist drops into 3rd place. Meantime, is now Rossi will try and have a go at Hildebrand for 5th place. Hildebrand still yet to make a stop. He was not probably pitting for another 4 laps. And Hildebrand a little bit wide there. Got a little bit of oversteer there. Probably feeling the pressure a little bit from Alexander Rossi. Rossi now then, will he try and possibly go for a risque move into the final chicane now then as he gets into the slipstream of J.R. Hildebrand through the right, then the left, and then into the right he goes now. Then can Rossi pull the move off on J.R. Hildebrand now then into the final chicane? He's going to look to the inside. Can he pull the move off? This will be a risky move. He's gone into the gravel and well, he's overdone it. He's overcooked it. And Hildebrand's going to try and get that place back. Can Kanaan also take full advantage as well? Rossi, again, just like we've seen earlier, probably just getting a little bit overconfident in himself. Hildebrand gets the place back, gets himself back up into 5th place. Kanaan doesn't take advantage and he's going to hang back. So Rossi's going to have to try again if he wants to get that position. And, well, clearly overdriving the car there was Alexander Rossi that time by. As he comes up towards the first two coming up towards the chicane now then, where Dixon crashed earlier in the races. All 3 of these cars now grouped together in this scrap for 5th place, going around these section of corners now then. We will go. Rossi trying to have a go. Hildebrand went very defensive into that chicane as they're all very grouped together through this left-right chicane now then on the track. And can Rossi try and get Hildebrand down this straight now? Then he's in the slipstream of J.R. Hildebrand now. Then he's tucked up. He's going to look to the outside, which Hildebrand covers off. Kanaan too far back to try and take advantage, but he gets better traction than the pair of them in front. Rossi now then in the slipstream of J.R. Hildebrand. Can he pull the move off into the hairpin? He tucks up into the slipstream. Is he going to look to the inside? He is going to look to the inside. Can Rossi grab 5th now then from J.R. Hildebrand into the hairpin? And he can. Up into 5th place goes Alexander Rossi. Can Kanaan also take full advantage as well, just like Rossi did on Fittipaldi earlier? No, he can't. Hildebrand just going to hold off at the exit there then. And Kanaan a little bit further back. He's probably not going to be close enough then to possibly try and get him into the last chicane. And no, he's not. So he's going to have to hang back for the moment as he will now approach the final chicane on the track. So through the right and left hander we go now then. Kanaan getting back traction of what Hildebrand did coming out of that final chicane. And well, that's that really as far as they are concerned. So yeah, now then coming up towards the first few corners on the track as Tony Kanaan goes out these corners now. Then he will go. So now right onto the back of J.R. Hildebrand. He will now go now then into the corner through the right and left hander now. Then can Kanaan try and find a way through now then on J.R. Hildebrand as they make their way through these section of corners around the long swooping right hander we go. Kanaan doing everything he can to find a way through on J.R. Hildebrand and not going to be close enough that time by. And then coming out of the turn now then we will soon go. And so now coming down the straight, as you can see now, Kanaan trying to find a way through on Hildebrand, tried to have a go, but Hildebrand covered him off there as they are now coming around the chicane. Could Kanaan try and get him into the hairpin now? Then we will go. Kanaan tucks up into the slipstream now, then he will go now. Then can Kanaan pull the move off? He's going to tuck up into the slipstream now then, and he's not close enough that time by to try and find a way through. He might have to go for a risque move into the hairpin there, as Hildebrand had a very poor exit out there, probably feeling the pressure again from Tony Kanaan. And Hildebrand not scheduled to pit for another 2 laps yet. Kanaan now then trying to find a way through, and he'll probably have to do it at the last chicane. Can he pull the move off? Or is it failed now? Then Kanaan in the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside. Can Kanaan pull the move off? Can he get the car slowed down in time? No, he can't. Carries a bit too much speed, and Hildebrand again will just cream through. And well, again, drivers overdriving their cars a little bit in that last chicane, and Hildebrand now then pulls a bit away, and now it's allowed Chavez to possibly get close now to this scrap. And well, that's that really, as that's another failed attempt at that chicane. Now in the meantime, Fernando Alonso, the race leader, is coming into the pits at the end of this lap now. So the race leader is coming in, and he will go straight on now. So into the pits comes Fernando Alonso for his second and final stop of the afternoon. This could be the pit stop that decides the championship today, as he comes in for his final stop of the season, as he will pull into his box now. Then let's see how much fuel he'll take on, and it obviously is now fueled to the end of the race now then. 23.9 litres are in the car now then, so it'll probably be a very quick stop for Fernando Alonso, which it is a 10.5 second stop from the E-Part Mechanics. Let's see where Alonso is going to emerge then. Through goes Rosenquist to take the lead temporarily. Sorry, Hunter-Reay to take the lead temporarily. I do apologise, I forgot Hunter-Reay actually passed him on track, and he's now got a bit of a gap. Alonso rejoins in third behind Rosenquist now then, so it shows how much he pulled away from Rosenquist and how much time he's lost, especially to Ryan Hunter-Reay as well after his first stop. So Alonso rejoins third behind these two who was yet to make their second stops. Rosenquist will be staying out for around another 7 laps, as Hunter-Reay, Alonso's teammate, is coming into the pits at the end of this lap now then, as he just makes his way out of that chicane. And now heading down the straight now, then he will now go, as he will soon come up towards the right-left chicane on the racetrack through the right, and then into the left-hander we go. He used quite a lot of curb on the entrance into that corner, as now up towards the hairpin now, then we will now go. And now into the hairpin we go, as out goes J.R. Hildebrand! J.R. Hildebrand is out of the race. It's advantage E-Part for the team's championship, and he's had a crash with another car, it seems. It's Tony Kanaan. He's had a crash with a pair of them have crashed it into the last chicane, and that is championship over for J.R. Hildebrand. Hildebrand is out of championship contention, and we just caught onto it last minute, so we're unknown who caused the accident. But whatever the case, J.R. Hildebrand and Tony Kanaan are out of the race, and we're down to 13 runners. Hildebrand's chance at taking the championship is now over. He is not going to be the champion, and well, whatever the case, it's been a fantastic season for J.R. Hildebrand. Either way, who would have thought he would have been in title contention? He's just been so consistent this season. Despite the poor qualifying performances, he's just been so consistent where others have tripped up. And I'm sure if he gets retained by Silicon Valley Racing, then I'm sure he will come back even stronger in Season 5-6 and hope to have another championship attack. As now, Alonso will now try and get all of Rosenquist's meantime teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay into the pits. It's advantage E-Power now. Even if Hunter-Reay doesn't get a time penalty, it's advantage E-Power at the moment for them to try and take the team's title. And well, That's that really. 10.3 seconds is the stop for Hunter Ray. Where is he going to emerge? Through goes Fittipaldi, who's scheduled to make a stop. Rossi's coming out the final chicane, but it looks like Hunter Ray is still going to stay out in front, which he is. So Hunter Ray is going to rejoin in 4th place in front of Rossi with quite a comfortable gap in front of his fellow compatriots. So P4 for him. That should be second once Rosenqvist and Fittipaldi make their stop. Meantime, Rosenqvist is under threat from Hunter Ray's teammate Fernando Alonso now. And he doesn't need to pass him, of course, but he's not wasting any time. He tries to have a look to the outside into the chicane. Not going to quite work out there then. Through the right and left hander we go now. And can Alonso try and get Rosenqvist into the hairpin? He's got a good run out of the corner. He's already alongside him even before they even get to the hairpin. Alonso down the inside. Can he pull the move off? Down the inside he goes into the hairpin. Is it going to be the lead again? And yes, it is. Back into the lead of the race goes Fernando Alonso in the E-Power car. And, well, Rosenqvist just had no response. He didn't even give a fighting chance. And, well, Alonso through into the lead again. And Rosenqvist still not yet to make a stop for around another 6 laps or so. But already Alonso has gone off into the distance. And it's all looking good for the 3-time IFMC champion to add an IndyCar title to his name at the moment, providing he can finish the race, of course. If he crashes out or has a problem in these remaining these remaining 19 laps or so, if Alonso runs into any trouble, it will be championship over for him, and and Fittipaldi will be the last championship contender to try and win the title. And but at the moment it's all looking good for Alonso to take the championship at this stage. Meanwhile, the other championship contender, Pietro Fittipaldi, and one of the 2 championship contenders that's still now left in this race, is in the pits, and let's see where he's going to rejoin after his final pit stop now then of the season. Fittipaldi will soon flick off the pit limiter, which he does, and he's going to rejoin in 6th place, just behind teammate Chavez, who's yet to make a stop, and in front of Newgarden, who's also yet to make a stop. Also in is Ed Jones into the pits for the final time today, and Jones will obviously want to forget this season and try and move on to season 5-6 if he can. He'll not be in the top class next season, of course, so he can focus on IndyCar if target Andy Graham decides to keep hold of him for next season. Max Chilton into the pits for SIC, and he's going to be joining last out of their 13 cars left. Jones is going to rejoin in 12th position. Alonso now with quite a big gap now in front of Rosenqvist, and he can now probably breathe a sigh of relief and try and just get the car home if he can and not make any mistakes whatsoever. Rosenqvist now then coming out of the final chicane, as here is Ryan Hunter-Ray. And he'll be up in second once Rosenqvist makes his stop, because he's continuously looking like he's gaining onto his lead. Rossi could even grab the final podium place of Rosenqvist as well. So that's that really. Is now into the final chicane then goes Alexander Rossi as he pushes hard now then, and possibly could grab the final podium place after Rosenqvist's pit stop. Meantime, Fittipaldi on the backside of his own teammate Gabby Chavez now then. He's not going to be wasting any time on him whatsoever, but it looks like Chavez is coming into the pit anyway. So I don't know why Fittipaldi is wasting his time going to go for a pass, because Chavez is coming in, and Fittipaldi goes straight on into the gravel. I don't know why he was doing that. I'm sure his team told him he was coming in anyway, but now that's lost him time to Newgarden. But yet again, Newgarden is scheduled to make another stop very soon, but Newgarden will still try and put a pass on him into turn 1. Down the inside he goes. Can he pull the move off? No. Fittipaldi just going to hold on to 5th place for the moment, and Newgarden having to hang back for the moment now then in this race, as Robert Wickens is not that far behind from that scrap either. Chavez finishes his pit stop. Let's see where he's going to rejoin then after this pit stop. As he trundles down pit lane, he will soon flick off the pit limiter, and Chavez is going to rejoin in 11th place in front of Ed Jones then. So that's where he's going to come out after the stop. There's Alonso now then trying to come up to lap Max Chilton if he can, as he's now about to start lap 53 of 69 now then in this race, as we now have 17 laps to go in this race. We've already passed the 2:30 mark, for anybody wondering. That was 3 minutes ago. We just passed that, as Alonso has 17 laps to go here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, as now he just goes around that chicane. As meantime now then, Wickens now then all over the backside of Newgarden. Newgarden's now lost time to Fittipaldi. Wickens now then trying to attack Newgarden for 6th place if he can. Round the right and then into the left-hander. We will now go. Can Wickens try and get the move done into the final chicane if he can now then? Wickens on the inside. Can he pull the move off? And now he's just going to back out of it now then. Not risking it for a chalky biscuit. He's already trying to pull the move off earlier and it didn't work out. So he's going to back out at this instance. As now they come down the straight. New Garden, of course, still yet to make a final stop. And that will not come until around about another 2 or 3 laps time. As he makes his way around the first 2 corners now then. On the racetrack now then he goes. Meantime now then, here's Gary Chavez trying his best to close in onto Sato for 10th place at the moment, but just a little bit too far back at the moment. I think he is to Taku. So they just go around the first few turns on the racetrack. Chilton just coming out of the final chicane. Here's Fernando Alonso, all looking good at the moment for him to take the title, but he's still got these important laps to complete at the moment. Here's Rosenquist, and I think at around about 2 laps time we should see him come into the pits for his scheduled stop. And well, he just wasn't on the pace after the first stop, was he? He was leading the race quite comfortably in front of Fernando Alonso, but the fact that Alonso stayed out a little bit more was enough for the Spaniard to get the jump. Apologies for that technical difficulty there from RE Central, and just that little flash there from them as well. As Rosenquist now then just goes around the right left-hander now then on the track, as now just coming around these section of corners now then we will go. So now just coming around the left and right, and there we go. As Rosenquist now then doing all he can to try and hold on to second, but it looks like Hunter Ray is going to be in front of him in the pit stops, and it looks like Rossi will be as well, because look how close they are to Rosenquist compared to each other on the track. It looks like Rosenquist will come out in 4th after the stop. Fittipaldi a little bit too far back for him to challenge the Swede, but could try and close up to him in these remaining few laps if that's going to be the case. As Rosenquist now then will approach the hairpin now on the track, which quite an interesting fact. That used to be the final corner when Montreal was first opened back in the 1970s. The track itself, that used to be the pit straight, but then of course they moved it, I think in the 80s, to where it is now. As Sato's in for his final stop, and he'll join in last place. Alonso putting a lap on him there then, as Ryan Hunter-Ray just coming around these section of corners now then, as he's slowly closing in onto Felix Rosenquist, as he makes his way now then into the final chicane. And currently looking good for an E-Power 1-2, and currently looking good for Silicon Valley, sorry, for E-Power to claim not only the driver's title for Alonso, but also the team's title as well, if it stays like this. That's now into the first 2 turns we will go, as now they just come out of the second corner now then. Hunter-Ray just using the curb on the outside there then. And that's that really as far as he is concerned. And so now just coming around the section of corners now then we will now go. Hunter-Ray still trying to put some pressure on Rosenquist. Sato rejoined behind Rosenquist but a lap down, but it still looks like he's keeping up at the moment with the Swede at this stage, as Newgarden is in for his final stop quite late into the race, and let's see where Newgarden will rejoin then after his pit stop. Looks like Sato is preparing to unlap himself at the expense of Felix Rosenquist, which could cost him a lot more time to Alexander Rossi at this stage. And it's a 9.8 second stop then for Newgarden. Where is he going to rejoin then after the stop? Looks like it's going to be 12 at the moment, because coming down the pit straight now then will go Max Chilton, and he's going to go through in a bit, which he does. So Newgarden's going to be joining 12th, so not a good race for him as far as he is concerned, and he'll nearly be a lap down at the expense of possibly his future teammate Fernando Alonso. And so now they're just coming around the section of corners now then on the racetrack, as Rosenquist is now into the pits. As Newgarden had quite a big lock up there into that chicane, but Rosenquist is now into the pits, and let's see how quick the stop will be. Through goes Hunter-Ray, through goes Rossi onto a podium place. Is Fittipaldi going to get any closer to Rosenquist now then? Rosenquist finishes his stop. He's now fueled to the end of the race. Let's see where the Red Rose Racing car is going to emerge. And he's going to be joining 4th. Actually, he's still quite a bit in front of Fittipaldi. So Rosenquist coming out in 4th place in front of Fittipaldi. But Fittipaldi could still try and chase him down in these remaining 14 laps of the race here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. As Fittipaldi now then just goes out of turn 2 now then on the track and looks to try and chase down Rosenquist for 4th place if he can. Quite a bit of a task, but in these 14 laps it is possible that he could try and get him down. We'll have to look and see what sort of pace the pair of them are running at this stage of the race, as we're into the closing stages of the final race of the season. On the left and right hander we go now then on the track, as they just make their way around these section of corners. Now then we will go as they come down towards the right and left hander on the track. So around these section of corners we will now go as Fittipaldi's pushing hard to try and gain onto the Swede as best as possible, really. There's the Swede there, you just saw him on the top right there of your screen. It shows, pretty much showing how far Fittipaldi needs to try and gain, really, as a result. As Fittipaldi now then, as we ride on board with the Brazilian, as it looks like RE Central's gone a little bit backwards. Hopefully it fast forwards itself just a bit, as now going into the final chicane. Now then we'll go Pietro Fittipaldi, and let's see what the gap is going to be like now then between himself and Felix Rosenqvist, as we have 13 laps remaining here at the Ile Notre Dame, coming down towards the first two turns on the racetrack. Now then through turn 1 and then into turn 2 will now go 4.9 seconds, the gap being, so just under 5 seconds between the pair. Then we'll keep an eye on that gap next time by to see if Fittipaldi is able to cut that down a bit, or whether Rosenqvist will pull away, or whether it stays the same and they're both lapping around about the same pace. We'll wait and see. Round the left and right hander we go now then, as Fittipaldi will approach the left and right hander on the racetrack now then, as he just comes off the turn, heading down the straight before approaching the right left chicane on the racetrack now then. Fittipaldi now then still currently has a shot at the title, but he needs to hope something bad happens to Alonso in front if he wants to win the championship today. As now coming up towards the hairpin we now go. Look how much he's pushing, and that's Rosenqvist in front. Rosenqvist has got a problem. The man who was looking good for some good points today is out of the race with transmission problems. Felix Rosenqvist is out of the race, and we're down to 12 runners here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and that gives Pietro Fittipaldi 4th place in the race. Andretti will move up into 5th place. Chilton will get himself into the top 10 at this stage. So Felix Rosenqvist, who was looking very strong for a high points finish anyway, is out of the race, and we're down to 12 runners here at the Ile Notre Dame, as now Alonso comes down towards the hairpin now then on the track, and where Rosenqvist just pulled off a little bit earlier on, as now just coming off the turn now then we will go, as he will come around the right left right chicane very soon on the racetrack. So just going around these section of corners, sparks coming off the back of the Spaniard's cars. He's looking good to make it 3 wins in a row for E-Power this season, 2 in a row for him, and of course both championships looking to go to E-Power this season. And of course you could say 3 as well, because Honda wrapped up the Manufacturers Championship last weekend in Watkins Glen for the 2nd season in a row. So obviously for the 2nd season in a row it is a Honda driver that's going to get the championship, but it's a question of which one it's going to be, and it looks like a Honda powered team will win the team's championship again. As now coming around the right and left hander we go, as Alonso currently leads this race, and all looking good for the championship if it stays like this at the moment in this race. Meantime, here is Helio Castroneves, currently in 6th place at the moment, and looking to try and catch up to Marco Andretti for 5th place if he can, just to try and give EMR something after what has been a tricky season for the East Midlands based team. And well, they'll be hoping for a better season in season 5-6, and hopefully try and reclaim the titles that they're going to lose today here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. As now coming up towards the final chicane on the racetrack through the right and left hander we go now then. Let's see the gap between him and Marco Andretti in front, as they will now approach the first 2 turns on the racetrack now then. 11 laps to go now then here at the Ile Notre Dame through turn 1 and 2. The gap between Andretti and Castroneves is 2.6 seconds, 6.3 the gap between Castroneves and Wickens at the moment. Castroneves finding himself in an adrenaline sandwich at the moment, but he's got a bigger gap to Wickens than what Andretti has in front of him at this stage, and we'll see if Castroneves is lapping a little bit quicker than Andretti on this lap. 2.6 I think it said last time by, so we'll keep an eye on that as best as possible, as Castroneves tries everything he can to reel in onto Marco Andretti in front, as they will soon approach the right left chicane on the racetrack. Through the right and left hander we go, and now heading down the straight, as they will soon come up towards the hairpin on the track. Into the hairpin we go, around the right-hander now then, as he uses the curb on the outside there. Then through the left we go, as they will come down towards the right chicane on the racetrack. So through the right, then the left, and then into the right-hander we go. As now Andretti will try and see if he can try and withstand the pressure from Helio Castroneves. 10 laps to go for race leader Fernando Alonso, as we're now on lap 60 of 69. We're 16 minutes away from the 3 o'clock mark, for anybody wondering. Into the first 2 turns on the track, and let's see the gap this time by between Castroneves and Andretti. It's still 2.6, so they're both pretty much lapping around about the same pace as each other at this stage. So meantime, now we're not in Castroneves is not in an adrenaline sandwich, because unseen by the cameras, Chavez has got up into 7th. So up into 7th place goes Gabby Chavez, and now Jones will try and put the Canadian hero under pressure now then for 8th place. Through the chicane we go, as Jones will try and find a way through on Robert Wickens if he can now then through the left and right hander we go, as he will now approach the left-right chicane. A double lock up there from Gabby Chavez, so he's pushing hard to try and get away from those two. As they just come off the turn now, the Newgarden will try and find a way through on Wickens if he can now. Then as they come down the straight towards the right-left chicane, he tucks up into the slipstream. He's got to look to the outside. Isn't going to quite work out, so we'll have to wait possibly for the hairpin next time by. Through the right and left-hander we go, heading out of the turn before approaching the hairpin. Jones in the slipstream now then of Wickens. As they go down the straight, he's going to look to the inside. Can Jones pull the move off into the hairpin now? Then we go. Jones down the inside he goes. Can he pull the move off? And no, he can't. Wickens just going to hold on around the outside to hold on to the place. Jones trying to hang it alongside him out of the hairpin, but it's not going to quite work out for him at the moment. Coming down the straight now then, Jones doing everything in his power to try and get hold of Wickens in front. Through the right, then the left, and then into the right hander we will soon go, as now they will come up towards the final chicane, and Jones not that close enough to get hold of Wickens at this point. Now they're through the right and left hander we go, and heading down the straight now then, Jones doing all he can to find a way through on Marco Andretti now then, Robert Wickens on the track now then through turn 1, taking the apex, unlike Wickens who looked like he just missed the apex going into turn 1 there. Through turn 2 we go, as Jones just comes off the turn now. They're heading into the right-left chicane. We will now go through the right and left-hander now then we go, just coming off the turn. As now for the left and right-hander now then we go. Can Jones find a way through on Robert Wickens now then through the left and right-hander? As now they just come off the turn, as they will come down the straight. Can Jones find a way through on Robert Wickens now then on the track? Again, isn't able to get the move done into the right-left chicane. A lock up there then from Jones, showing he's pushing hard, and that might lose him a bit of momentum now on Wickens approaching the hairpin. And will he be able to try and probably dive it into the hairpin? He's not close enough, so he's just going to have to hang back for the moment, as they now just go around the hairpin now. They're on the track, coming down the straight now then before approaching the final chicane. As now coming up towards the left chicane, as out goes Marco Andretti. Marco Andretti is out of the race. Wickens' teammate, whatever's happened to him, and there it is. It's another transmission problem in this race. Marco Andretti is going to be out of the race. Castroneves is going to get himself up into 5th place, and it's race over for Marco Andretti after what has been a brilliant year for him in Adrenaline's first ever season in IFMC IndyCar. And Marco Andretti is out of the race, and we're down to 11 runners here at the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve, Jones is not going to be able to put an overtake on, and well, he's now in the green flag area, but it's going to prevent him from possibly putting a pass into the final chicane. And well, that's that really. Jones trying his best to try and get hold of him if he can. Chilton there with quite a lot of understeers. Now the other Target Andy Graham car is also starting to attack as well. Can he try and get Chilton into the first corner now? The Newgarden on the inside of Max Chilton. Can he go 9th from the Brit now? Then down the inside he will go. And yes, he can. Up into 9th place goes Joseph Newgarden in the Target Andy Graham racing car. And that's P9 for the American. A good comeback from him after the mistake he made earlier on in the race. Through the chicane he goes. Can Jones try and find a way through then? This time on Robert Wickens for what will be 7th place this time in the race. As now coming up towards the left-right chicane we go. Through the left, then the right. So they now just come out of the turn now. Then they go on the racetrack now. Then as now they just come off the turn now. They're just heading down towards the right-left chicane on the racetrack. As at the moment, if it stays like this, even if Hunter Ray does get penalised and drops down to 11th, if it stays like this, E-Power will win the team's championship now. It is definite now. Even if Hunter Ray ends up last, if he gets a penalty, E-Power will still walk away with the team's title. If it stays like this, as Jones is unable to get the move done on Robert Wickens that time by, as they now come down the straight, and he'll have to probably wait again to try and get him into the last chicane. Alonso now then on lap 63 of 69 now then here at the El Notre Dame now then, as now Jones going to the inside into the final chicane. Can he pull the move off where others have failed? And he's just about got it stopped, and Jones is up into 7th place. He's finally, somebody pulled the move off into the final chicane, and up into 7th place he will go, as now Newgarden will try and take full advantage if he can, coming off the turn, and he does so. Up into 8th place goes Joseph Newgarden, and that's positions gained for the target ending. Graham guys, Chilton tried to have a go at Wickens into the first corner, but Wickens just able to hold off for the moment and hold on to that 9th place at this stage as they come out of turn 2, heading down towards the right-left chicane on the track. They will soon go, as Newgarden will try and find a way through on Jones in front if he can, as Wickens misses the apex going into the right-hander there. Then through the left and right-hander we will now go, as now they will approach the left-right chicane through the left and then into the right-hander we go, and now Chilton will try and find a way through if he can now then on Robert Wickens underneath the bridge now. Then he's going to look to the outside, and Wickens will be able to cover him off, so Chilton will have to try and get him into the hairpin. There's the race leader, Fernando Alonso, who's trying to lap the pair of them in front, so he's now coming up to some traffic now then, it must be said. Chilton now then all over the backside of Wickens now then. He's going to look to the inside. Can he get 9th from the hometown favourite into the hairpin now? Then we go. Can Chilton get the place down the inside? Has he got it? Wickens still trying to stick with him at the moment, and they're still going to remain side by side out the corner, and Wickens is still going to hold on for the moment. Great driving from the Canadian hero, as now Chilton will try and get him into the final chicane now then on the racetrack. Now through the right and then into the left hand we go. Chilton can't just find a way through at the moment now then in this race, as Chilton now then will try and find a way through into the chicane. Chilton down the inside, and he's overdone it again into the chicane, and contact between Wickens and Chilton right in front of Alonso. Alonso just able to avoid it there, but Chilton, well, getting the move done on Wickens there with some contact, and I wonder if that will have to be investigated, that collision there between Wickens and Chilton. So that's 10 now. A lot of work to do for the stewards later on tonight, it must be said, after the race, as now they just come out of turn 2, but that's 9th now for Max Chilton. Alonso just about avoiding that carnage as he's now on lap 65 of 69 now then, so 5 laps to go for him to take the title, as now they will approach the right-left chicane now then on the racetrack. And Alonso now then looking good to get the championship if it stays like this at the moment, as they now make their way down the straight now then they go. Looks like Chilton's trying to unlap himself, in fact. Will Alonso actually let him go? Well, he is actually going to let him go, in fact. So clearly thinking about the championship there is Fernando Alonso, letting Chilton go there as a result, as now they come up now then towards the hairpin now then, and Alonso obviously thinking about the championship at the moment. If he stays like this, Alonso will win it, as he doesn't need to put himself in a tricky situation at the moment. Now they're through the right, then the left, and into the right hand there we go, as they will now come up towards the final chicane on the racetrack now then, as Alonso now then coming around that final chicane he goes. So Chilton will look to try and stretch away a bit from Alonso and see if he can try and gain onto 8th place man Newgarden, who's trying to attack his own teammate for 7th, Ed Jones. 4 laps to go now then for Fernando Alonso, as we're now on lap 66 of 69 now then here at the El Notre Dame. And Chilton probably been told he needs to let Alonso go now then, so Alonso going to get through now then into the chicane. But through goes Alonso, and he's now put a lap on Max Chilton now then he will go, So now that could put Watkins back onto the back of Chilton now. Then remember, I think these two, obviously Chilton now under investigation for that collision with Robert Watkins. So that's that really as far as they are concerned. As they now come out of the turn, now they're heading down towards the right-hander now. They're on the racetrack. As Chilton now then just going around this section of corners now then on the racetrack now. Then we go. And now up towards the hairpin on the racetrack now then. And so now just going around the turn. Alonso still leading the race quite comfortably. Here's Hunter-Reay, currently second. There's Rossi third. Fittipaldi fourth at the moment. As meantime, we've got a battle for fifth now starting to brew, as Chavez has now got onto the back of Helio Castroneves. So we've now got a big battle starting to emerge for fifth place between the Brazilian and the Colombian. As now coming out of turn 2 now, there we go. As now up towards the right-left chicane we will now go. So through the right, then the left. As Chavez tries to put Castroneves under a lot of pressure now then in this race. Round the right-hander we go. Up towards the left-right chicane we will now go. Through the left and then the right again. Can Chavez try and find a way through on Helio Castroneves now then in this race? As they go down the straight towards the right-left chicane. Chavez looks to the outside, having to back out of it as Castroneves covered him off now then. So will Chavez try and get him into the hairpin now then. Out of the turn we go. Chavez with a good run out of the turn. He's in the slipstream now then of Helio Castroneves. He's going to look to the inside. Can Chavez pull the move off now then on Helio into the hairpin? Down the inside he goes, and he does it. Up into fifth place goes Gabby Chavez, and that's P8 for the young Colombian. And that's another place game for him as far as he is concerned now then. Meantime, Newgarden trying everything he can to try and get Jones for fifth, but at the moment things don't look to be going that way at the moment, and it looks like Jones has got a bit of a comfortable gap now in front of Joseph Newgarden now then, as they make their way into the final chicane. Round the right and left hander we go now. They're on the racetrack coming down the straight, and Newgarden now then doing whatever it takes to get some off his own teammate by the end of a race. Alonso about to start the penultimate lap of the race here at Montreal. He's about to start lap 68 of 69 now then here at the Ile Notre Dame. As now we approach the right-left chicane on the racetrack through the right and then into the left-hander we go. As now they just come around the section of corners now then up towards the left-right chicane now then through the left and then into the right-hander we go. So now they just come off the turn. Now they're heading down the straight before approaching the right-left chicane. And now in towards the right-left chicane we go. Newgarden still a little bit too far back to challenge. And at the moment, the pair of them are also slowly but surely starting to close in a little bit at the moment on Helio Castroneves in front, but Castroneves has got a bit of a gap in front. Pietro Fittipaldi's back in the pits. Why is he in the pits? He's got a loose wheel, that's why. So Pietro Fittipaldi has got a loose wheel, and well, that could be championship over now then for Pietro Fittipaldi. He needs to hope that something bad happens to Alonso in front if he wants to win the title, and well, that's that for him really, as he comes out of his box, and he's still going to rejoin in fourth, or is he? Because Chavez is coming down the pit straight now then, and yeah, he is. So Fittipaldi, or is he? Because Chavez goes around the outside of his own teammate, and he's going to grab fourth with ease there, so we could have a last lap scrap between the two Meccano cars at this stage. Meantime, Fernando Alonso is about to start his final lap here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It's been an amazing race for the Spaniard. He started in third place, didn't look to have the pace at the beginning, but after the pit stops he had a lot more pace on those tyres he had, and well, was just able to just keep going really, and he just hasn't looked back since the start of the race. And if he can keep this up, he is looking good to get his second victory of the season, and on top of that as well, take the Drivers' Championship, becoming the first man in IFMC history to win an IndyCar and top class title as well. So history will be made if it stays like this at the moment, as Alonso comes around the chicane now then for the final time. Meantime, Fittipaldi still stuck behind Chavez, and it looks like Chavez has got a bit of a gap now in front of Fittipaldi. Maybe a last lap scrap could come underway, as Jones is also now on the back of Castaneves, so these two could scrap it out on the final lap, as it looks like he's left Joseph Newgarden now for dust. So those two will scrap it out for the final time. But meantime, here is Fernando Alonso now then, as he comes around these S's now then for the final time, and he has done an absolutely splendid job. He hasn't led the championship until this point, but it's now going to come true through the final two corners when it mattered most. It's been a brilliant race for him as he comes down the pit straight. It is going to be Fernando Alonso who wins at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And as a result, Fernando Alonso is the Season 4-5 IFMC IndyCar champion. Congratulations to him, and he first championship in e-power after a tricky Season 4-5. Alonso, in his first season, wins the title, becoming the first man in IFMC history to win a top class and IndyCar title as well. Fantastic stuff. Hunter Ray for now finishing in second, meaning that e-power have won the team's championship as well. They take it from Silicon Valley in the last race by a few points. e-power the team's champions. Alexander Rossi finishing in third, but we've got a last lap dash between the two Macamo cars. Fittipaldi trying to have a look at Chavez into the hairpin there. Chavez just fending him off in the end there then, as they just come out the turn. As they come down the straight now then, Jones also having a go at Castaneves, and well, Fittipaldi is not close enough. Chavez looks like he's going to hold on to fourth place, but what about this? Will Jones try and get Castaneves into the final chicane? Will there be last lap carnage into the final chicane? Now there we go. Jones tries to have a look. Castaneves is just going to hold off. Jones does not risk it for a chalky biscuit, as now Chavez is going to cross the line in fourth. A brilliant end to the season for him. It's fifth for Fittipaldi. He doesn't win the title, but it's been a brilliant first year for him nonetheless. Castaneves is just going to hold on for sixth. Jones seventh. Newgarden eighth. And there you have it then. In the end, Fernando Alonso is the winner here at Montreal, and he is the Season 4-5 IFMC IndyCar champion, and they power take the team's title as well. Congratulations to them indeed. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the result of the 69 lap race here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Fernando Alonso won the race with Ryan Hunter-Reay in second, Alexander Rossi third, Gabby Chavez fourth, Pietro Fittipaldi in fifth, with Helio Castroneves in sixth, Ed Jones seventh, Joseph Newgarden in eighth, with Max Chilton ninth, Robert Wickens in 10th, with Takuma Sato, the final finisher, in 11th place. Of course, if Hunter-Reay does get penalised, it wouldn't matter, because e-power would still win the title, as there were only 11 finishes in this race. The retirements are as follows. It were Marco Andretti, Felix Rosenqvist, Tony Kanaan, and if you scroll down the rest of the field, it is J.R. Hildebrand, Graham Rahal, James Hinchcliffe, Patricia O'Ward, Scott Dixon, Will Power, Simon Pagenaud, and Sebastian Bourdais. They were the retirements of the race here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race then. Who's going away with the final bonus point of the season? And it was Will Power with a 1 minute 22.717. Despite retiring for the race, he's still going to get the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. He was officially 3 tenths quicker than race winner Fernando Alonso in the end there then. But guys, there you have it. That has been it from an amazing race here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and that brings to an end the Season 4-5 IFMC IndyCar Championship. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's been supportive of the series, and thank you to everyone for another amazing year of IFMC IndyCar in its second ever season as well. Again, congratulations to Fernando Alonso on winning the championship, and congratulations to e-power on winning the team's title as well. But that has been it then, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon indeed. But until then, take care, and thank you for another amazing season.